Chapter 241 Threat. The war with the country of Chuan ended, but Asuka did not relax her vigilance. After all, she did not have a system, so she did not know that the kingdom of Chuan would no longer attack, so Asuka still led the army to stay in the city, ready to resist Chuan at any time. A possible attack from the kingdom. At this time, Mag has also reported the situation here to Senju Tobarama's, but because the time is still short, Senju Tobarama's reply has not yet arrived. But before Senju Tobarama replied, Tashinyao unexpectedly received a letter. The letter was given to Dongshenyao by a soldier of the kingdom of Chen. According to the soldier, it was given to him by a strange man. As for the man, he had already left. Looking at the envelope without any markings, Dongshenyao was a little strange, not knowing who would send him a letter. Out of curiosity, Dongshenyao took out the letter and read it. But when he read the contents of the letter, his face turned gloomy. Dongshenyao, you should know who I am. I'll give you 2 days to meet in the Tianduan Canyon of Luo Zhiguo. If you don't arrive, I really can't do anything to you, but Kudo-jun and Kimura Fumino are the two of them. Not as strong as you. The content of the letter was very small, and the person who wrote the letter was not marked, but a family emblem of the Uchiha clan was used at the bottom of the letter. With this, Dongshenyao had already guessed the identity of the person who wrote the letter. Apparently there will be no one else but Uchiha Ida. Damn, you even threatened me with Kudo-shun and the others, Uchiha Ida, you are really courting death. Tashinyao was furious. Although he didn't speak, the soldiers who delivered the letter could feel the anger on Tashinyao's body. Unconsciously, the soldier took a few steps back. After putting away the letter, Dongshenyao looked at the soldier and said, I have accepted the letter, you can go first. Yes. Hearing Dongshenyao's words, the soldier didn't dare to ask anything at all, and left as if he had run away. In 2 days, I'm still in a hurry. It seems that I have to make some arrangements. Dongshenyao thought to himself. Didn't tell anyone about the letter. After all, even if the letter was handed to Senju Tobarama, it was useless. Although it was a threatening letter, it was not signed. There is Uchiha's family crest, but that doesn't mean much. Therefore, Tashinyao plans to solve this matter by himself. Anyway, he has to kill Uchiha Ida. There has been no chance before. Now that Uchiha Ida has come to the door himself, Tashinyao certainly will not miss it. On the other hand, Asuka was a little angry when her subordinate said that Dongshenyao had received a letter, so she hurried over to ask. Yao, what happened today? No, Asuka, don't worry, it's all right. Now the country of Chuan should not have the energy to attack the country of Chen, so you can develop the country of Chen with peace of mind. By the way, don't forget to find some orphans, and I will teach them to practice. Well, I see. Seeing Tashinyao saying that it was all right, Asuka was very obedient and didn't ask any further. Soon night fell. The city was silent at this time. Many people were already sleeping, but Dongshenyao left the room. Uchiha Ida, since you are courting death, I will fulfill you. Thinking of this, Dongshenyao sensed it, and after making sure that there was no one around, he soared into the sky, flew high into the sky, and then flew straight to the country of Luo. When Dongshenyao left, another Dongshenyao came out of the room. The main body can rest assured, and leave it to me here. Dongshenyao looked at the sky and said. In order to cover up his whereabouts, Dongshenyao left a shadow clone here, so that even if Uchiha Ida dies in the future, he will not be involved. Even if the Uchiha clan suspects, as long as there is no evidence, it is useless. Dongshenyao went straight to the road overnight, and soon entered the territory of the country of fire, and then did not stop, and flew straight to the country of Luo. Tashinyao was very fast, and before noon the next day, he had already arrived at the Tianduan Canyon that Uchiha Ida said in the letter. Looking around, Dongshenyao found that there was no one here. Obviously Uchiha Ida hadn't arrived yet. Seeing this, Dongshenyao made arrangements directly in the Tianduan Canyon. The length of Tianduan Canyon is about 300 meters. The road in the canyon is very narrow, only more than 20 feet wide. There are steep cliffs on both sides, hundreds of meters high. From a distance, this canyon looks like it was split by a knife, so it is called Tianduan Canyon by the people of Luo Zhiguo, which means the canyon cut by God. Soon the time came to dusk, and 5 figures appeared at the entrance of the canyon. The leader was Uchiha Ida, and 4 ninjas followed behind him. Remember, when Tashinyao appears tomorrow, you will immediately set up a seal formation. You must not let Tashinyao run away, you know. Uchiha Ida said sternly. Yes. Don't worry, my lord, we remembered it. Hearing his subordinate's answer, Uchiha Ida nodded in satisfaction. My lord, do you think that Dong Shenyao would really risk his life for the 2 of Kudo Shun? A ninja asked. Hearing this, Uchiha Ida pondered for a moment and then said, from the previous style of Tashinyao, he will come, but I don't know exactly how, but no matter what, this is an opportunity. If he doesn't come, think about other things. But if he comes, he must not be allowed to run away. Quote. Uchiha Ida, I'm already here. Uchiha Ida's voice just fell, when suddenly a man's voice came out from the canyon. What? Uchiha Ida did not expect that there were people in the canyon, which surprised him. At the same time, he saw 2 stone walls suddenly raised at the entrances on both sides of the canyon. The stone walls were hundreds of meters high, directly giving the canyon to the blocked. Facing the sudden change, Uchiha Ida and the 5 were stunned. Tattoo. The sound of footsteps sounded, and Dong Shenyao came out from the depths of the canyon. Uchiha Ida, we meet again. You've already arrived. Uchiha Ida looked at Dong Shenyao in surprise. According to his estimation, even if Dong Shenyao went on the road as soon as he received the letter, at least he would be able to arrive here tomorrow. Hey, you didn't think about it. Uchiha Ida, since you have already selected the cemetery for yourself, then I will fulfill you. I didn't expect you to die in such a hurry, kid. In that case, I will give you a ride. And this is not my cemetery, but yours. I hope you like it. Uchiha Ida said with murderous intent. Want to kill me? Uchiha Ida, you look down on yourself too much. Today I'll show you my true strength. Chapter 242 Gravity Field. Want to kill me? Uchiha Ida, you look down on yourself too much. Today I will show you my true strength. Tashinyao looked at Uchiha Ida and said disdainfully. Real strength. Boy, although I don't know how much strength you hide, it's all useless. I'll tell you now, what is quasi-shadow? With that, Uchiha Ida shot directly. Uchiha Ida is extremely fast, at least Gongwei, who was beheaded by Tashinyao before, is not comparable to Uchiha Ida. However, Tashinyao was not surprised at this point, because he had already experienced Uchiha Ida's strength in the battle space before. Although Uchiha Ida's strength is stronger than Gongwei, if it really fights, it will be easier for Dong Shenyao to kill Uchiha Ida, because he has already fought, and Dong Shenyao knows Uchiha Ida's ability like the back of his hand, so it will be easy to fight again. This time Tashinyao didn't hide his clumsiness. Seeing Uchiha Ida rushing over, Tashinyao sneered. Gravity field. Boom. Suddenly, many gravel blocks within 100 meters of Dong Shenyao's body suddenly shattered, and when Uchiha Ida entered this range, his body suddenly staggered and then stopped directly. What's the matter? Uchiha Ida was dumbfounded. He found that his body suddenly became heavy, and his internal organs seemed to be hit hard. This is the role of the gravity field 413. Different from the gravity space, the gravity space is the gravity of a certain place that Dong Shenyao directly controls. The gravity field exists around Dong Shenyao, with Dong Shenyao as the origin and a radius of 100 meters. The gravity within this range is controlled by Dong Shenyao, but Dong Shenyao himself is not affected in the slightest. At the same time, unlike the gravity space that cannot move, the gravity field will move at will with Tashinyao himself. Just when Uchiha Ida stopped, Tashinyao moved. Whoosh! Teleportation technique. Tashinyao came to Uchiha Ida in an instant. When Uchiha Ida reacted and wanted to resist, he found that his speed had slowed down, and before his arm was raised, Tashinyao's fist had already hit Uchiha Ida's abdomen. Bang! The huge force directly knocked Uchiha Ida into the air, but Tashinyao didn't let Uchiha Ida just like that, and jumped up and came directly to the top of Uchiha Ida. Bang! On Uchiha Ida's back, and the huge force directly hit his body to the ground. Boom! Uchiha Ida's body fell to the ground, directly smashing a big hole on the ground. Sir! Seeing that Uchiha Ida was at a disadvantage as soon as he came up, the 4 Uchiha clan ninjas he brought were directly shocked. They did not expect that the usually high-ranking deputy chief would also have such a troubled side. But when they came back to their senses, they rushed towards Dong Shenyao without fear. Sensing that the 4 Uchiha clan ninjas were rushing towards him, Dong Shenyao sneered and stepped on the ground with his left foot. Doden, Earth Style, House of Flying Daggers. Whoosh whoosh. An instant, countless earth thorns appeared on the ground. The 4 Uchiha clan ninjas had just entered the field of gravity, and their bodies were instantly stopped by the influence of gravity. At this time, earth thorns rose on the ground. For a while, 2 ninjas didn't respond in time. They were hit by a soil thorn in the chest and flew out. PFF'd. The 2 spewed blood one after another, apparently injured, while the other 2 escaped in time and were not injured. Doden, Earth Style, Rock Rain. Dong Shenyao stepped on the ground with his left foot again, and a large rock flew out immediately, and then he saw that the rock instantly turned into countless small sharp arrows. Whoosh whoosh. Countless rock arrows shot out like raindrops. And just when Tashinyao attacked the 4 Uchiha ninjas, Uchiha Ida slowly got up from the ground. Wiping the blood from the corners of his mouth, Uchiha Ida's eyes were full of shock. At this time, he realized that he really underestimated Dong Shenyao. If Uchiha Ida started a few more days later, he would have learned the news that Dong Shenyao beheaded Sunan village Junkage Gongwei, and I am afraid that he will change his mind by then, but it is too late. I can only say it's Uchiha Ida who is killing himself. Seeing that the 4 subordinates he brought with him were injured by Tashinyao in a blink of an eye, Uchiha Ida did not dare to neglect, and hurriedly retreated. Although he did not know the existence of the gravity domain, he also noticed that there was a problem with the space around Dong Shenyao. He knew that if he did not leave this range, he would not be able to defeat Dong Shenyao. Although he noticed Uchiha Ida's actions, Tashinyao ignored it. Yigao was bold, and Tashinyao had the confidence to kill Uchiha Ida, so he let him leave the gravity space. After the rock rain, the remaining 2 Uchiha ninjas were also injured. Several rock arrows were inserted into both of them, and blood flowed from the wounds. Lord of the Earth. Tashinyao directly condensed a huge rock giant and ordered it to entangle the 4 Uchiha ninjas. Tashinyao looked at Uchiha Ida, who had left the field of gravity. Boy, I did underestimate your strength, but you shouldn't let me go, now your death is coming. Uchiha Ida began to quickly hand seal. Kaden, Fire Style, Fierce Dragon Flame Jutsu. Woo! A fire dragon spewed out and went straight to Dong Shenyao. The fire dragon was also affected to some extent after entering the field of gravity, but the overall impact was not great. After all, it was composed of flames and had no entity. Under the influence of gravity, the fire dragon became more solid. Shinra Tensai, Almighty Push, Sign. Dong Shenyao blocked his right hand in front of him and let out a soft sigh. Boom! A strong repulsion force was issued, and the flame was bounced off instantly. What? Uchiha Ida was stunned. Whoosh! Rushed towards Uchiha Ida in an instant. At this time, Tashinyao adjusted the gravity on his body, and his speed suddenly increased sharply. Before Uchiha Ida could react, he had already shrouded him into the field of gravity again. Not good. Uchiha Ida was startled. He wanted to leave this area, but unfortunately Dong Shenyao was already approaching him at this time, and at the same time, the shadow-chopping sword appeared in Dong Shenyao's hand, and the blade went straight to Uchiha Ida's abdomen and stabbed. Uchiha Ida hurriedly stepped back, and at the same time took out kunai to resist Tashinyao's attack. Dang dang dang. A burst of gold and iron symphony sounded, and the two were fighting in one place. Chapter 243 The Fall of Uchiha Ida. Bang! A burst of explosions sounded, and the rock giant slammed into the ground with a punch, and the ground suddenly cracked, and scattered rubble smashed on Uchiha Ninja. Uchiha ninjas who escaped this blow didn't wait to breathe a sigh of relief when they saw dozens of earth thorns suddenly pierced from the rock giant's arm. Because a Uchiha ninja was too close to the rock giant, and he did not expect such a thing to happen, his body was pierced by several soil stabs in an instant, and it seemed that he could not survive. The remaining 3 Uchiha ninjas immediately became alert when they saw this. Kaden, Fire Style, Great Fireball Jutsu. Raiden, Thunder Style, False Darkness. Fireball Phoenix Sage Fire Technique. The remaining 3 Uchiha ninjas quickly launched ninjutsu and instantly attacked the rock giant from a distance. Boom! The explosion sounded, and the 3 people's attacks hit the rock giant, causing a burst of smoke. Before the smoke cleared, a huge rock suddenly flew out of the smoke. Boom! The rock fell to the ground, and although it didn't hit the 3 Uchiha ninjas, it also startled them. When the smoke dissipated, it was seen that the rock giant was missing an arm, but before the 3 of them were happy, a large amount of rocks rose from the ground and melted into the rock giant's body, and soon the rock giant's arm was restored to its original state. Bang! Kicked Uchiha Ida in the abdomen and kicked him out. Although Tashinyao is not as good as Uchiha Ida in terms of physique when he does not use the 8 inner gates, but in the field of gravity, Uchiha Ida's movement is greatly affected. In this case, whereas Tashin-Yao's opponent, Uchiha Ida regretted it, and if he was given another chance, Uchiha Ida swore that he would never trouble Tashinyao. But unfortunately, there is no if. And it's not that Uchiha Ida didn't think about running away. Just looking at the stone walls at the entrance of the valley on both sides, Uchiha Ida's heart cold. PFF'd. Blood bloomed, and another Uchiha ninja died, whose head was directly blown off by a fist from the rock giant. Seeing this scene out of the corner of his eye, Uchiha Ida's heart was bleeding. The 4 ninjas he brought this time were to set up a ceiling formation to besiege Tashinyao, so their strengths were good, and they were all Jonin-level existences. Now that 2 died at once, Uchiha Ida was also a little distressed. Although Uchiha is a big clan, there are still not many ninjas who have reached the Jonin level. However, although he was distressed, Uchiha Ida had nothing to do, because he could not protect himself now, if it wasn't for his strength already surpassing the average Quenkage, and Sharingan's help, I'm afraid he would have been killed by Tashinyao. However, although he is not dead yet, Uchiha Ida has also suffered serious injuries, and now he is completely biting Kiba and insisting. If it was someone else, they might beg for mercy, but Uchiha Ida is a member of the Uchiha family, and naturally has the pride of the Uchiha family. For the people of the Uchiha family, even if they die, they will not beg for mercy. PFF'd. Shadow-cutting knife stabbed into Uchiha Ida's abdomen, and the next moment Tashinyao drew the knife and retreated, and a stream of blood Jinchuriki column spurted out of the wound. Puff! Uchiha Ida couldn't hold on any longer, and his body fell directly to the ground. Uchiha Ida, have you ever thought that such a day will come to you? Tashinyao did not rush to kill Uchiha Ida, but looked at him with interest. The day I became a ninja, I knew that I would be killed sooner or later, because this is the fate of a ninja, and it is also the best destination for a ninja. But I didn't expect to die at the hands of a child. You grew up too much soon. Uchiha Ida said bitterly. Uchiha Ida still remembers that when he first met Tashinyao, he did his best to defeat the elite Jonin, but now, he has the strength to kill Zunying. Uchiha Ida, I don't understand why you want to kill me so much. I'm a Konoha ninja no matter what. Even if I have a holiday with your Uchiha clan, I won't send someone to kill me, right? Tashinyao finally asked his own question. Doubt. Dong Shenyao had also deliberately asked before, although the Uchiha family is arrogant and difficult to get along with, but usually even if someone offends them, the Uchiha family will at most teach them a lesson, and they will not kill people easily. Otherwise, Senju Tobarama would not have kept the Uchiha clan. But Dong Xianyao asked himself that at first he and the Uchiha clan didn't have a deep relationship, and they didn't face each other with swords at all. Because Uchiha flat is my son. Uchiha Ida smiled wryly. Hearing this, Dong Xianyao's eyes flashed with surprise. He didn't expect Uchiha Ping to have such an identity, but he turned out to be the son of the deputy chief of the Uchiha clan. It turns out that this is the case. Uchiha Ping is also considered a fool. Dong Xianyao complained. It's a fool indeed. Uchiha Ida had a helpless look on his face. At this time, he already felt a little dazed, and he knew that even if Dong Xianyao didn't kill him, he might not live long. Ta Xianyao, I know you won't let me go, but as a father, I beg you not to embarrass Uchiha Ping. He is no threat to you. Uchiha Ida pleaded. Ta Xianyao didn't answer, just stared straight at Uchiha Ida. He didn't expect Uchiha Ida to say such a thing in the end. At this moment, Dong Xianyao thought of a sentence, for the hearts of parents in the world. Uchiha Ida, I can promise you, as long as Uchiha doesn't provoke me, I won't kill him. Thank you. Uchiha Ida thanked Dong Xianyao, the enemy. You, welcome, said. Ta Xianyao raised his hand, and suddenly a soil thorn shot out, instantly piercing Uchiha Ida's heart. Puff. Uchiha Ida's body fell straight to the ground. When Ta Xianyao saw that the task of beheading Uchiha Ida was completed, he was relieved. Ta Xianyao will never forget that the Uchiha family has a secret technique called Izanagi. But now the mission is displayed as completed, which means that Uchiha Ida did not use this secret technique. Beheading Uchiha Ida, Ta Xianyao ignored his body for the time being, but turned to look at the two Uchiha ninjas who were still alive. At this time, the two were embarrassed to avoid the attack of the rock giant. At the same time, they had also discovered that their deputy chief Uchiha Ida had died. This scene made them feel cold. Even the deputy patriarch died, and they didn't think they could survive. Chapter 244 Camp Shake. After the stone walls on both sides of the broken canyon disappeared that day, there was no one alive in the canyon except Dong Xianyao. After beheading Uchiha Ida, Ta Xianyao showed no mercy and directly killed the other two Uchiha ninjas who were still alive. After beheading everyone, Dong Xianyao did not forget to clean the battlefield. After collecting the Sharingan of several people, Dong Xianyao buried them in a burial, and everything in the canyon was buried hundreds of kilometers underground. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the A-level task and beheading Uchiha Ida. The task reward has been issued. Please check the host yourself. Thinking of the system sound that had sounded in his mind before, the corner of Dong Xianyao's mouth couldn't help but evoke a smile. It can be said that Uchiha Ida has been pressing on Ta Xianyao like a mountain before, and now that the mountain is finally resolved, how can Ta Xianyao be unhappy? Uchiha Ida has been killed, but Ta Xianyao does not plan to go to the camp. No matter what, Uchiha Ida is the deputy head of the Uchiha clan. Although Uchiha Ida took the initiative to provoke him, Ta Xianyao knew that if the news that Uchiha Ida was killed by him spreads, I am afraid he will not have a good time in Konoha village. Although Dong Xianyao is already full-fledged now, and with his current strength, he can go as far as the world, but unless necessary, Dong Xianyao does not want to leave Konoha now. After all, leaning against a big tree is a good way to enjoy the shade. In Konoha village, Dong Xianyao can also better complete his ultimate mission. After leaving the canyon, Dong Xianyao flew directly in the direction of the country of fire, and Dong Xianyao was ready to return to the country of Chen as soon as possible. Now there is still his shadow clone over there in the kingdom of Chen. If you go back quickly, you can avoid being discovered. It was already dusk when the 5 Uchiha Ida came to the Tianduan Canyon. When the battle was over and Dong Xianyao left, it was already night. Dong Xianyao went straight all night, and finally returned the next morning. Chen country. And when Dong Xianyao came to the city on the border of Chen Kingdom, it was not yet noon. Dong Xianyao found his shadow clone. He found that shadow clone was staying in the room. Although shadow clone is similar to the main body, there are some differences. Once attacked, it may disappear, so in order to avoid accidents, Shadow Clone stayed in the room after Dong Shenyao left. This is convenient for Dong Shenyao, because there is no one around, and he was not found when he came back, and soon he cancelled Shadow Clone. Fortunately nothing happened, so it would be perfect. I'm afraid no one would think that Uchiha Ida was killed by me. Thinking of this, a smile appeared on the corner of Dong Shenyao's mouth. As for the Uchiha family, maybe suspicion was on his head, but Dong Shenyao didn't care. If he just suspected and had no evidence, a mere Uchiha clan couldn't do anything to him. Since he had returned, Dong Shenyao did not continue to stay in the room. Dong Shenyao left the room and wandered around the city. At the same time, in the territory of Luo's country, in the camp of Konoha village. At this time, the entire camp was boiling, because just yesterday evening, Uchiha Ida, who was discussing matters with Sarutobi Hiruzen, suddenly disappeared into smoke. At this time, everyone knew that this Uchiha Ida was just a shadow clone. But now Sarutobi Hiruzen and others can't care to pursue these. What really makes them concerned is how Uchiha Ida's shadow clone disappears for no reason. There are only a few situations in which shadow clone disappears. One is attacked by a certain intensity, which is obviously impossible, because no one has attacked Uchiha Ida's shadow clone before. There is also the fact that shadow clone's chakra is exhausted, which is somewhat possible. After all, no one knows how long this shadow clone of Uchiha Ida has been separated. In addition, there is also the fact that the body's active release of ninjutsu will also make shadow clone disappear. If it is the above situation, it is fine, but there is another situation, that is, the person who cast shadow clone has been severely hit, or even died, then shadow clone will disappear. What Sarutobi Hiruzen and the others are most afraid of is that this happens to Uchiha Ida, because if this is the case, it means that Uchiha Ida is in danger. Thinking that Uchiha Ida might be in danger, Sarutobi Hiruzen and other high-level officials suddenly couldn't sit still. So Sarutobi Hiruzen took people to the camp of the Uchiha family immediately and asked about the whereabouts of Uchiha Ida. Unfortunately, no one knew about it. Uchiha Ida didn't tell anyone about it in order to keep it a secret. Although some people have guessed that Uchiha Ida is going to deal with Tashinyao, but the situation is unknown now. They dare not tell this matter. After all, once this matter spreads, I am afraid that their Uchiha family will suffer. It is a taboo to treat one's own people against one's own people. If it is really spread, the Uchiha family will no longer have a foothold in Konoha village. Sarutobi Hiruzen did not gain anything in the camp of the Uchiha family, so he had no choice but to leave. Immediately after that, he sent people to investigate the matter, and also began to find the whereabouts of Uchiha Ida. But when Sarutobi Hiruzen took action, the atmosphere in the Uchiha clan's camp was a little dignified. Uchiha clan who knew the inside story gathered in a tent. They had been here for a while, but no one spoke. The atmosphere in the tent was a little depressing. Another few minutes passed, and finally someone couldn't take it anymore. Although the deputy chief did not say what to do, everyone should be able to guess it. An elder of the Uchiha clan looked at everyone and said, "What else can I do other than to deal with that Dong Shenyao?" Uchiha agreed. Now the shadow clone left by the deputy chief has disappeared, which is not a trivial matter. It is impossible for the deputy chief to take the initiative to remove the shadow clone, so it is very likely that the deputy chief has already encountered an accident. The elder who spoke first spoke in a heavy tone. Said, "Not necessarily, that Dong Shenyao is powerful, but he can't be the opponent of the deputy chief, and this time there are 4 Jonin who are missing together with the deputy chief. This kind of lineup is not suitable even for cage-level masters. Let's escape." Uchiha Ryo apparently didn't believe that Tashinyao could kill Uchiha Ida. And hearing Uchiha Liang's words, the other elders nodded in agreement. Zunying is not so easy to kill, especially Uchiha Ida is still the strongest in Zunying, and ordinary cage-level masters may not be able to kill him. These people are not wrong, but they underestimated Dong Shenyao's ability. Chapter 245 Tinder. Although the high-level officials in the Uchiha camp guessed that Uchiha Ida was going to deal with Tashinyao, they could not believe that Tashinyao was able to kill Uchiha Ida. In fact, it's no wonder that the elders of the Uchiha clan didn't believe it. This was Dong Shenyao. Otherwise, if someone else, even an ordinary cage-level expert, could defeat Uchiha Ida, it would be very difficult to kill him. It can only be said that Dong Shenyao's skills are very suitable for killing people. Doden Earth style is good at changing the environment. As long as Dong Shenyao pulls the enemy into a confined space, the enemy can't run even if he wants to. This is normal. Cage-level masters can't do it. It is precisely because of this that few Quenying and cage-level masters have fallen. Just like Senju Tobarama and the third generation of Reikage in the original book, they died in battle because they had to stay and fight to protect others. If you want to go, it is really difficult to kill a master of this level, unless there is a strong player above cage level. Of course, there is a freak like Dong Shenyao now. Because of his skills, as long as his strength is not as good as him, then Dong Shenyao can kill him. Of course, it's hard to say Hidan's immortality, and Dong Shenyao can't be sure if he can kill Hidan. After all, Hidan is an existence that doesn't die even if his head is dropped. Since it wasn't Tashinyao who did it, who could it be? Even Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't kill the deputy chief. An elder Uchiha questioned. You said, could it be Senju Tobarama? Someone whispered. Although the man's voice was not loud, it was very quiet in the tent at this time, so everyone else heard it. When they heard the name Senju Tobarama, everyone fell silent. It is well known that Senju Tobarama doesn't like the Uchiha family, and some even suspect that if it weren't for Senju Hashirama's reasons, I'm afraid Senju Tobarama would have wiped out the Uchiha family. And the general cage level can't kill Uchiha Ida, but it does not include Senju Tobarama. Senju Tobarama is the highest in the cage level. The existence of the peak, plus the technique of Hiraishin, the existence of the quasi-cage level is not enough for Senju Tobarama to kill. Okay, let's stop discussing this matter. No matter who killed the deputy patriarch, this person's strength is not something we can resist. And it is still uncertain that the deputy patriarch is really dead, maybe just had an accident. Hearing the elder's words, the expressions of the others softened a lot. Because if it is really Uchiha Ida killed by Senju Tobarama, then it probably means that Senju Tobarama is going to do something to their Uchiha clan. The current Uchiha clan is no longer the original Uchiha clan. Without Uchiha Madara, the strength of the Uchiha family is not as strong as before. If Senju Tobarama really wants to destroy the Uchiha family, it may cost some money, but it can be done. Tashinyao didn't know about the changes in the camp, but he could imagine that the death of Uchiha Ida would definitely cause an uproar in the camp, but Tashinyao didn't care about it. And not long after Dong Shenyao returned to the country of Sichuan, he received a reply from Senju Tobarama. Tashinyao, this is what Hokage-sama specially asked me to give to you. The ninja who came from Konoha village took out a scroll and gave it to Tashinyao. After taking the scroll, Dong Shenyao didn't hide it, and looked directly in front of everyone. Soon, Dong Shenyao read the contents of the scroll in general. There is no substantive content on the scroll, they are all praising Dong Shenyao, and at the same time saying that he will be rewarded well when he comes back. In addition, let Dong Shenyao stay in the kingdom of Chen for a while, and then return directly to Konoha village after ensuring the security of the kingdom of Chen. Dong Shenyao is not surprised by the content on this scroll. He can now kill Zunying alone. Obviously, his strength has reached this level, and his status in Konoha village will be greatly different. In Konoha village, enough for Senju Tobarama to pay attention. As for Senju Tobarama asking himself to go back to Konoha village instead of going directly to the front line, Tashinyao was a little puzzled at first, but he reacted quickly. Tsukage is different from other levels of ninjas. Although Tsukage is not as good as Cage level, it can influence the victory of a big battle, but it is also enough to lead a small war. Just like the previous war between the Kingdom of Chen and the Kingdom of Chuan was considered a small war, and Dong Shenyao and Gongwei were the leaders of this war, and the outcome between the two was related to the outcome of the war. As usual, the quasi-shadows in Konoha village basically have their own tasks, but now there is a quasi-cage level master suddenly. Senju Tobarama naturally has to make good use of it. Even Tashinyao guessed that if Senju Tobarama was not worried about the Kawa no country attacking the Tatsu no country again, I am afraid that he would have immediately recalled himself to Konoha village. In addition to the letter to Dongshenyao, Senju Tobarama also wrote a letter to Mag. There is not much content in it. Apart from praising Magog and the others for their victory, it is to let Mag and the others obey Dongshenyao's arrangement. As for Senju Tobarama's instructions, Mag and the others were not surprised. After all, Dongshenyao's strength is there. Listening to Dongshenyao, Mag and the others will naturally have no opinion. Dongshenyao knew that the battle would not happen in a short time, so he just asked Mag and the others to help the construction of the kingdom of Chen and nothing else. And Dongshenyao himself found Asuka. 310 Asuka, how is your collection of orphans? I have collected a lot. Because of the previous invasion of the kingdom of Sichuan, many households in China have been destroyed and many children have become orphans. Speaking of this, Asuka couldn't help but send Yuhi slightly, because she was one of the victims. Her father died at the hands of Tangren village, and now she is an orphan. Okay Asuka, everything will get better in the future. Take care of these orphans, and I will let Shadow Clone teach them. Dongshenyao knew that these orphans would be the seeds of the ninja village in the country of Chen in the future, waiting for them to grow up after getting up. It was the moment when the ninja village was established. Yao, these orphans have been settled, you can guide them at any time. Speaking of this, Asuka couldn't help but look at Dongshenyao in anticipation. That's it, that's fine, I'll get a shadow clone now. Said, Dongshenyao hand sealed with both hands, and soon separated a shadow clone. But soon Dongshenyao frowned, because if he really wanted to teach a lot of people, shadow clone alone might not be enough. But if there are too many, shadow clone cannot exist for a long time because of his chakra quantity. If that's the case, it should be fine. Dongshenyao suddenly thought of an idea. Chapter 246 Tsunade's Intuition. Shadow clone is indeed very useful. It has the memory and ability of the main body. Although it will dissipate once the chakra is exhausted or if it is hit too hard, it cannot hide its advantages. But even so, shadow clone still cannot fully meet the needs of Dongshenyao. Because he wants to teach a lot of people, just one shadow clone is not enough, and once there are too many shadow clones, it will consume more chakra, then shadow clone will not be able to last for too long, so some tasteless. And Dongshenyao couldn't stay in the country of Chen for much longer. Sooner or later, he had to return to Konoha village. Once he left, it would be difficult for those orphans to become powerful ninjas without someone to guide them. So now Dongshenyao wants to develop a kind of physical clone. It is best to exist for a long time, and the number is also large, so as to meet the needs of Dongshenyao. However, Dongshenyao also knew that it was not easy to develop such a skill, and it would take a lot of time. For the time being, he could only use Shadow Clone to temporarily replace it. Shadow Clone was separated. Tashinyao asked Asuka to take his Shadow Clone to see the orphans. After handing over the matter of the orphans to Shadow Clone, Dongshenyao began to study the skills he had thought of before. He wanted to develop this skill as soon as possible, at least before leaving Shinjiguo. At the Hokage office in Konoha village, Senju Tobarama was looking through the information when he heard a bang, and the door of the office was kicked open. Although he didn't look up, Senju Tobarama could already think of who came in. Tsunade, can't you be gentler? Said, Senju Tobarama put down the situation in his hand and looked up at Tsunade who walked in. Faced with Senju Tobarama's complaint, Tsunade didn't pay any attention to it and ran to the desk and said, "Second Grandpa, is there any news about Yao recently?" Seeing the look of anticipation in Tsunade's eyes, Senju Tobarama looked helpless. He didn't know what kind of ecstasy Tashinyao had performed on Tsunade, so that Tsunade fell in love with him so much. Since Tashinyao went to the front line, Tsunade came here often. Inquire about Dongshenyao's situation. The thought of his precious granddaughter having a sweetheart makes Senju Tobarama very upset. Although Tsunade is not his granddaughter, but because Senju Tobarama has no descendants, Tsunade is more dear to Senju Tobarama than his granddaughter. Tsunade, that stinky boy has a big life, don't worry. And not long ago, he also killed a Quenying. Although Dong Shenyao kidnapped his granddaughter, but if Tsunade can really get along with him, Senju Tobarama is still happy to see Dong Shenyao together. It is not impossible to become a Kage level in a few years, and Dong Shenyao's achievements are enough to be worthy of Tsunade. Wow, Yao is so powerful, he actually killed Junkage. Tsunade's face was filled with joy. But soon, a hint of depression appeared on Tsunade's immature face. Yadu is so powerful, when will I be able to catch up with him? Hearing Tsunade's words, Senju Tobarama shook his head and comforted. Tsunade, Yao is a monster. Don't compare yourself to him. You are already pretty good. How long has it been since you graduated? You already have the strength of an elite chunin. This is already good. What's the matter? Yao was already able to beat the elite chunin when he graduated, and he has only just acquired the strength of the elite chunin. Tsunade pouted and said with some dissatisfaction. If those people in their 20s who are only chunin's strength hear Tsunade's words, I don't know if they will be ashamed and kill themselves by bumping into tofu. By the way, second grandpa, you said that Yao killed Junying, what happened? Tsunade asked curiously. Because Tsunade was out on a mission before, he didn't know about Dong Shenyao's trip to the kingdom of Chen. Immediately Senju Tobarama did not hide it, and directly told the details of the matter. Tsunade didn't care at first, but he was very excited when he heard that Dong Shenyao had killed the quartet in the kingdom of Chen, and even defeated the kingdom of Chuan. But soon, Tsunade thought of something. Second grandfather, you said that Chen Zhiguo specially asked Yao to help them, what's going on? Tsunade's intuition told her that there was a problem. Tsunade, you don't know, Yao and the daimyo of the country of Chen know each other. Before, Yao received the task of protecting the daimyo of the country of Chen, so the relationship between the two parties is very good. When the daimyo of the country of Chen brought his daughter to watch the Chunin game in Konoha, he went back. It's time to tell Yao to protect them. Daughter. Tsunade filtered out the rest of the content, and she focused her attention on Chen Zhiguo's daughter. A voice in her subconscious told her that Dong Shenyao and Chen Zhiguo's daughter might not have a common relationship. Second grandfather, how is the relationship between Chen Zhiguo's daughter and Yao? Tsunade asked. I'm not very clear about this, but I heard that in the first mission to protect the daimyo of the kingdom of Chen, Yao seems to have saved the daughter of the daimyo, and the daughter of the daimyo of the kingdom of Chen is about the same age as Yao, but only 2 years older than Yao. Senju Tobarama said with a look of reminiscence. Tsunade didn't speak anymore, but a light flashed in his eyes. After learning about the daughter of the daimyo of Chen Zhiguo, Tsunade felt a sense of crisis in his heart. No, I'm going to find Yao. Tsunade suddenly shouted. Tsunade, aren't you serious? What are you going to do when the kingdom of Chen is in a turmoil? Now you are just a genin, so you should perform some tasks in the kingdom of fire. Senju Tobarama directly stopped Tsunade's plan. No, people just want to show off. Tsunade pouted and said angrily. Okay, Tsunade is obedient, now the matter in the country of Tatsuya is basically over. It won't be long before Yo will be back, so just wait a while longer. Really? Tsunade was a little happy when he heard Senju Tobarama's words. Of course it's true, I already told Yao in the letter before. That's great, the second grandpa likes you the most. Looking at the happy Tsunade, Senju Tobarama said in a sour tone, I think your favorite is Dong Shenyao. Second grandpa is ignoring you. Facing Senju Tobarama's ridicule, Tsunade was shy, and immediately turned around and ran away from the room. Hey, the girls' college didn't hold back. This stinky boy Yao is really, I will definitely teach him a lesson the next time I see him. He even dared to seduce my precious granddaughter. Senju Tobarama said viciously. Sorry, this chapter is a bit late. Chapter 247 Senju Tobarama's Doubts. Dong Shenyao didn't know that Senju Tobarama was already thinking about himself. If he knew, I'm afraid he would scream injustice. After all, he really didn't deliberately seduce Tsunade. Time passed by 10:10. Seeing that the kingdom of Chuan had no plans to attack again, everyone felt relieved. Asuka began to develop the kingdom of Chen with one heart, and prepared to restore it to the state before the kingdom of Chuan invaded as soon as possible. At the same time, Shadow Clone of Tashinyao also began to teach the orphans found by Asuka. Most of these are war orphans. Although they are still young, they are very mature in mind. They are eager for strength and hope to avenge their relatives, so they are very serious in their cultivation. However, while teaching these people, Dong Shenyao was thinking about how to make them stronger. It is difficult for ordinary people to become strong. After all, ordinary people do not have any special bloodstains, and their talents are mostly average. And if you want to become a cage-level master, who is not a talented penultimate, or someone with special bloodstains. And these orphans in the kingdom of Chen, Dong Shenyao, have already seen them. Most of them are of average talent. No matter how hard they work, their future achievements will be limited. Jonin is almost the limit of most of them. Although Jonin is already good, it is still not enough in the eyes of Dong Shenyao. What he needs is someone who can give him a strong hand on his way to rule the ninja world, and only Cage can really control the situation in the ninja world. Only the strong above the level will do. Just like in the original 4 battles, isn't it the few people who decide the outcome in the end? The 5 major ninja villages joined together to form a coalition of 100,000 people, but in front of Uchiha Madara and the others, 100,000 people were nothing. So now Dong Shenyao hopes to find a way to cultivate the strong. By the way, I have a system. I don't know if I can use the bloodline exchanged in the system for others to use. Dong Shenyao suddenly thought of a way. There are 3 main elements to becoming a strong person: perseverance, opportunity and talent. Just like Jiraiya, although the talent is less, he has perseverance and opportunities, so he finally became a cage-level strong, even among the cage-level masters also top-notch. And these orphans, who have experienced family ruin, long for powerful strength and want revenge in their hearts, so they are all people with perseverance. What is lacking now is opportunity and talent. And if you can exchange the blood limit for them, then even if you give them talent, there will be some real powerhouses among these people. Thinking of this, Dong Shenyao hurriedly asked the system. System Kun, can the bloodstain I exchanged be used by others? As long as the host authority is reached, it can be used by others. After getting the answer from the system, Dong Shenyao is Yishi. Although permission is required, it is at least possible. System, I don't know what kind of authority I need to achieve. Dong Shenyao asked. Wait until the host level reaches cage level. Ah. Dong Shenyao's mouth widened immediately. Don't look at his strength now that he is comparable to Junying, but in terms of level, he is only a Jonin, and there is still a long way to go before cage level. Forget it, I'm not in a hurry anyway. It's only 17 years in Konoha, and it's still a long time before the 4th battle. Take it slow. Dong Shenyao shook his head, and could only temporarily give up the plan to exchange blood for others. The growth of ninjas is very rapid. As long as they are talented and cultivated properly, more than 20 years are enough to cultivate a quasi-shadow or even a cage-level master, so Dong Shenyao is not in a hurry at all. And just when Shadow Clone began to teach these orphans to practice, Dong Shenyao himself threw himself into the development of skills. It can be said that this skill development is the most difficult for Dong Shenyao for so long, because he needs to create a clone that can exist for a long time. Even if it is attacked, it will not disappear, and it cannot consume too much investigation. It can be divided into many. A clone that needs to have so many advantages is obviously very powerful, and the more powerful the ability, the more difficult it is to develop. Hokage Office. This day, Senju Tobarama sent Tsunade away as usual, who came to ask for information on Dong Shenyao. Just as he was about to continue to review the documents, the door of the office was suddenly slammed open, and then he saw a ninja running in. "Lord Hokage, something is wrong," the ninja shouted as soon as he entered. "What's wrong?" After seeing this person, Senju Tobarama's eyes widened. He had already recognized the person. It was the deputy commander in charge of intelligence work on the front line of Luo Zhiguo, who was able to make him so anxious and personally rush back to Konoha. Apparently there is important information. "Lord Hokage, the deputy chief of the Uchiha clan, and the deputy commander of the front line, Uchiha Ida, are missing." "Huh." Senju Tobarama frowned upon hearing this. What the hell is going on? The face of Senju Tobarama's question, this man did not dare to hide, and hurriedly recounted what happened not long ago. "You mean Uchiha Ida secretly left the camp at some point, leaving Shadow Clone behind, and then Shadow Clone suddenly disappeared?" "Yes, Lord Hokage, these days, Lord Sarutobi has been organizing people to search for Uchiha Ida, but nothing has been found. It was only shortly after Uchiha Ida disappeared that someone found a battle left in the Tianduan Canyon 20 miles away from the camp. Traces. I see, leave the specific information, you go back to rest first." "Yes." After taking orders, the ninja handed over a scroll to Senju Tobarama and left. Uchiha Ida actually disappeared. What happened? Was he killed, or is there some conspiracy by the Uchiha clan? Senju Tobarama was lost in thought for a while. At the same time, the Uchiha family has already received the news of Uchiha Ida's disappearance, but they know more than Senju Tobarama and others. They already know that Uchiha Ida left the camp to deal with Tashinyao, so they quickly began to investigate East Shinya. But the final result was that Dong Shenyao had been staying in the country of Chen, and there was no sign of leaving at all, which made many high-level officials of the Uchiha clan puzzled. But at this time, the news of Dong Shenyao beheading Zunying had spread, which made them know that Dong Shenyao had the strength to kill Zunying, so the main suspect of the Uchiha family was still on Dong Shenyao. However, compared to before, the Uchiha clan has restrained a lot. Facing a master who can kill Zunying, they cannot help the Uchiha clan to be careless. Chapter 248 Earth Clone. Although the Uchiha family suspected that the disappearance of Uchiha Ida was related to Tashinyao, they did not dare to speak out about this matter. For fear of being known, their Uchiha family even attacked the ninjas in the same village. The other is also afraid of Dong Shenyao's strength. After all, the strongest member of the Uchiha family is Zunying, and Dong Shenyao is no longer the little guy he used to be. As an existence who can kill Zunying, Dong Shenyao is no longer something the Uchiha family can despise. It was also when the news of Dong Shenyao beheading Zunying came back to the village that the major families in Konoha village truly regarded Dong Shenyao as a person of the same level. Patriarch, what should we do about this matter? I think the deputy patriarch was killed by Nato Shenyao, should we just forget about it? In the Uchiha clan, a group of senior members of the Uchiha clan gathered together to discuss Uchiha Ida the matter, an elder said angrily. What else can we do? It's not the Sengoku period anymore. The glory of our Uchiha family has passed. Since the leader of the class left, our Uchiha family has no cage-level masters anymore. Now Ida is also dead, we still have what do you use to deal with Nadong Shenyao? The Uchiha clan's patriarch said helplessly. He also wanted revenge, but was powerless. However, he also misunderstood Dong Shenyao's strength. There is no way, in his opinion, except for cage-level masters, no one can kill Uchiha Ida in a duel. Hearing the words of the patriarch, everyone fell silent. Patriarch, it's true that no one in our clan is his opponent, but what if he besieged him? After a long while, someone suddenly suggested. Besieged. Hearing this man's words, everyone suddenly came to the spirit. Surrounding. It's easier said than done. Since Dong Shenyao can kill Junkage, he is more likely to kill Ida, so his strength may have reached cage level. How can we besiege such a strong person? Do we have to sacrifice our entire clan? Are you going to kill him? Chief Uchiha asked after glancing at everyone present. After hearing this, everyone fell silent again. And only then did they realize that the Uchiha family was already so weak that they couldn't even deal with a cage level. For a while, many old people began to miss the days when Uchiha Madara was the patriarch. How beautiful their Uchiha clan was at the time. No one in the entire ninja world dared to provoke except the Senju clan. But now, even a little baby less than 10 years old can't deal with it. The Uchiha clan leader also discovered the abnormality of the clan, but he could not do anything, because this is the current situation of the Uchiha clan. Everyone, from today onwards, everyone should be more restrained. We won't seek revenge on Dong Shenyao, but they may not let us go, and now our Uchiha clan is not as strong as before. It is really inappropriate to make enemies. Uchiha clan chief sighed. For a while, many people felt a little sad. Everyone, if you don't want to be wronged, then you should practice hard, and at the same time cultivate the juniors well. As long as there is a cage-level master in our clan, then my Uchiha clan will definitely be brilliant again. Yes. The words of the patriarch directly aroused the fighting spirit of the people present. All of them secretly swore that they would start to practice hard after returning home. Even if they could not reach the cage level, it would be good if they could make the Uchiha clan more quasi-shadows. Long for the people of Konoha village to find that the people of the Uchiha family seemed to have changed. They were not as arrogant as before, they became a lot more low-key, and they practiced harder one by one. Most people don't know why for this change, because until now, not many people knew that Uchiha Ida was missing. Of course, this matter cannot be concealed from those big families, who understand the changes of the Uchiha family very well. After all, if there is one less quasi-shadow, and the strength is damaged, it is natural to keep a low profile, but people from other families have not despised the Uchiha family because of this. After all, even if Uchiha Ida dies, there are still 3 quasi-shadows in the Uchiha clan. The blink of an eye, it had been half a month since Tashinyao beheaded Uchiha Ida. On this day, a burst of laughter suddenly came from Tashinyao's room. Ha ha ha, it succeeded, finally succeeded. I saw 2 Dong Shenyao standing in the room, one of them was full of excitement, while the other was helpless. Dang dang dang. Master Dong Shenyao, what's the matter with you? There was a knock on the door, and then someone asked outside the door. I'm fine, don't disturb me. After Dong Shenyao replied casually, he carefully looked at the person in front of him who was exactly the same as him. Hey, I said, can you stop watching? We are alone. Is it interesting to look at it like this? Dong Shenyao's clone said a little embarrassedly. Hee, am I not excited? Dong Shenyao smiled embarrassedly. By the way, let's try it out. How is the ability I designed for you? Dong Shenyao asked. The clone did not speak, and took out the shadow-chopping saber directly, slashing his arm. Suddenly, a wound was drawn on his arm, and then blood flowed out. If this is replaced by shadow clone, I am afraid it will disappear, but at this time this clone is fine, and the wound on his arm is healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. Haha, sure enough, no problem. Dong Shenyao was overjoyed when he saw this. He knew that he had finally created the clone he wanted. Well, since you can use the power of life, from now on this ability will be called the Earth Clone. After thinking about it, Dong Shenyao named this skill Earth Clone. This is the result of more than 10 days of research by Dong Shenyao. It is a skill created by Dong Shenyao by combining Earth Clone, Shadow Clone and the blood of the earth. The Earth Clone is mainly generated by Dong Shenyao's chakra combined with soil, but it has some abilities of Shadow Clone, that is, it can transmit memory. Although ordinary skills such as Soil Clone and Water Clone can also separate physical clones, after the clone disappears, they cannot transmit memories and feelings back to the main body like Shadow Clone. But this Earth Clone can, and the Earth Clone also inherits the ability of Dong Shenyao to absorb the life force in the earth, and uses the life force to replace the consumption of chakra. In this case, as long as the life force in the Earth Clone is not, if it disappears completely at once, then he can exist forever, until Dong Shenyao cancels or dies. It can be said that with this ability, the Earth Clone is equivalent to having a simplified version of the immortal body. As long as he does not die on the spot, then he can recover the injury by absorbing the power of life. Chapter 249 Back to Konoha. After developing the skill of Earth Clone, Dong Shenyao can leave the kingdom of Chen with confidence. At that time, as long as it does not face too powerful enemies, the Earth Clone will be fine, and it will not disappear, and it can exist for a long time. The day after Dong Shenyao developed the Earth Clone, he found Asuka. Asuka, I'm going back to Konoha. Ah, it's so fast, yo, please stay for a while. Asuka begged. Asuka, I've been in Tatsu no country long enough, and you know that now we Konoha are fighting Iwagakure and Sunagakure villages, so I have to go back. That's fine, but yo, you must remember to come and see me. Asuka didn't continue to entangle. Don't worry, I will leave the clone to accompany you, and when you become the famous name of Chen Jiguo, I will come to participate in your succession ceremony. Hearing Dong Shenyao's words, Asuka's eyes lit up, and her little finger immediately stretched out. Yao, let's pull the hook. Okay, hang on the hook, it won't change for 100 years. I saw Dong Shenyao's little fingers pulled together. Whoever doesn't keep the promise is the puppy, Asuka said happily. Because Ta Shenyao is going to leave tomorrow, Asuka didn't do anything that day and stayed with Ta Shenyao all the time. And Dong Shenyao was not as cold as before, but had a good day with Asuka. In the evening, the two were sitting on a hill outside the city watching the sunset. Asuka rested her head gently on Dong Shenyao's shoulder, her face full of happy smiles. For the first time since her father died, Asuka was so happy. Yao, I like you. Asuka suddenly whispered. Asuka, you shouldn't like me. Dong Shenyao did not turn his head, but continued to look at the sunset in the distance. But I still like you, Asuka said in a low voice. Dong Shenyao was silent for a long while Asuka was waiting anxiously. Dong Shenyao finally spoke again. Asuka, what would you do if I became an enemy of the whole world? Asuka was stunned for a moment. She did not expect Dong Shenyao to ask such a question, but she quickly recovered and replied with a smile. No matter what Yao does, I will stand by your side, even if you against the world, I will help you too. Thank you, Asuka. Dong Shenyao finally turned his head, and at the same time reached out his hand to gently lift Asuka's chin, bowed his head and kissed it. The next morning, Dong Shenyao left with half of the ninjas, and the other half of the ninjas will continue to stay in the country of Chen, and will not leave until the country of Chen is truly confirmed. Standing on the city wall, looking at Dong Shenyao's retreating back, Asuka was not sad, but showed a smile, because she had already got what she wanted. Yao, I wait for you, as long as you have me in your heart, I can always wait for you. Asuka whispered softly. Although Dong Shenyao is gone, he has left 3 Earth clones in the country of Chen. These Earth clones are not much different from the main body of Dong Shenyao, and they can even use Shadow Clone. Because they can refine chakra, once the chakra is consumed, it can be recovered, which is unmatched by other clones. However, the Earth Avatar is not without restrictions. First of all, his strength is fixed at the moment he is separated. No matter how much he cultivates, the quantity and quality of chakra will not change unless Dong Shenyao takes back the Earth Avatar and divides it again. Go out. At the same time, there is a limit to the number of Earth clones that Dong Shenyao can separate. He can only separate 3 Earth clones now. As for why, Dong Shenyao does not know. No matter how hard you try, you can't get a 4th. The strength of the Earth Avatars is not weak, and there is no problem in killing ordinary Jonin, and these 3 Earth Avatars are not only responsible for teaching orphans, but also shoulder the heavy responsibility of protecting Asuka. Because he had to take care of other people, Dong Shenyao didn't go very fast when he went back. If it was Dong Shenyao himself, he would be able to return to Konoha in less than a day, but because there were other people, he didn't return to the village until the next day. After returning to the village, Dong Shenyao sent the others away, and he went to the Hokage building to meet Senju Tobarama as soon as possible. However, Ta Shenyao had just arrived at the Hokage building, but Senju Tobarama was already waiting for him outside the building. Ha ha ha, welcome back our hero of Konoha. Senju Tobarama laughed and walked up. Grandpa Hokage, I'm hardly a hero. No, Yao, you don't know, because of you, the pressure on us in Konoha to face Sunagakur village is much less now. Huh. Dong Shenyao was stunned when he heard the words, wondering why Senju Tobarama said that. Seeing Dong Shenyao puzzled, Senju Tobarama explained, Yao, didn't you kill Gongwei before? He is the quasi-shadow of Tangren village. This Tangren village and Sunagakur village are in trouble, and now Tangren village's strength is greatly reduced. Not only one quasi-cage was lost, but ninjas of other levels also killed and injured nearly 200 people. Under such circumstances, the pressure on our frontline ninjas has been greatly reduced, so you can deserve the title of this hero. When Dong Shenyao heard this, his eyes suddenly became clear. Of course, Ta Shenyao also knew that the reason why Senju Tobarama valued him so much, and even said he was a Konoha hero, was mainly because of his powerful ability to kill Junkage. Grandpa Hokage is very polite, this is what I should do. Dong Shenyao said modestly. Okay Yao, being modest is a good thing, but sometimes people have to be a little more high profile. Let's go up and talk. With that, Senju Tobarama took Dong Shenyao directly and walked towards the Hokage building. Outside saw this scene, and some people who didn't know the truth were shocked one by one. They didn't know who Dong Shenyao was, but they could make Senju Tobarama take it so seriously, but those who knew the inside story were not surprised. Soon the two entered the Hokage office one after the other. Senju Tobarama brought a tea table directly, and the two sat on both sides. At this time, Senju Tobarama was so enthusiastic that he had obviously forgotten it. He also said that he would teach him a lesson when Ta Shenyao came back. After sitting down, the two sipped tea while Senju Tobarama asked about Dong Shenyao's experience in the kingdom of Chen. Although someone has come back to report to Senju Tobarama before, but after all, some things are not experienced personally, and the ninja who reported it can't tell clearly, especially the story of Dong Shenyao beheading Gongwei, which makes Senju Tobarama curious. Chapter 250 Senju Tobarama's Temptation. Senju Tobarama had already sensed it the first time after seeing Dong Shenyao. He found that Dong Shenyao was still at the level of Jonin, and the quality of chakra had not yet reached the elite level of Jonin, but the number was much more than half a year ago. But this still made Senju Tobarama unable to imagine how Ta Shenyao killed Junkage. Although the quality and quantity of chakras are not the only criteria for measuring the strength of ninjas, they also play a vital role. At the same time, only when the quality is improved, the power of using ninjutsu will be greater. And now the quality of Dong Shenyao's chakra is much worse than that of Zunying, but he is able to kill Zunying. How can this not make Senju Tobarama puzzled? By the way, Yao, how did you kill Gongwei? Facing Senju Tobarama's question, Ta Shenyao smiled slightly. He had long expected that Senju Tobarama would ask, because anyone would have such doubts. If 15 hadn't had the blood of the earth, Dong Shenyao really didn't have the strength to kill Zunying. But now, Dong Shenyao's strength has reached, so he is not afraid of Senju Tobarama's questioning at all. Grandpa Hokage, just a few months ago, my bloodstain limit evolved, so my strength increased a lot. Dong Shenyao explained what he had already thought about. Anyway, Senju Tobarama thought he had a bloodstain limit before, and now it's okay to blame everything on the bloodstain. And now if the blood of the earth is really counted, it does belong to the bloodstain limit, because this ability has been integrated into his bloodline and can be inherited for posterity. So that's the case. Senju Tobarama's eyes were clear. He believed Dong Shenyao's words at this time, because the powerful bloodstain boundary can indeed make the ninja leapfrog to fight. Just like Mangekyo Sharingan, once awakened, the ninja can have a combat power that is at least comparable to Quenkage, and even if Susanoo is developed, even against cage-level powerhouses is not a problem. Yao, I didn't expect that the bloodstains of your Eastern Gods family would awaken in your generation, and exert such great power. You must develop it well in the future, maybe your strength will be stronger. Well, Grandpa Hokage, I know. Okay, now tell me in detail about your experience in the Kingdom of Chen. Facing Senju Tobarama's question, Dong Shenyao did not hesitate, and directly recounted his experience after arriving in Shinjiguo. Of course, there are some things he won't say. For example, he received a threatening letter from Uchiha Ida, even killed Uchiha Ida, and his relationship with Asuka, and he is going to help the country of Tatsun build a ninja village, etc. These are inconvenient. Dong Shenyao didn't mention a word about the exposed things. Senju Tobarama was overjoyed when he learned that Dong Shenyao had first repulsed the attack of the river country by one person, and finally almost wiped out the ninjas of the Tang ninja village. After hearing Ta Shenyao mentioning his fight with Gongwei, Senju Tobarama was a little nervous again, until after Dong Shenyao said how he killed Gongwei, Senju Tobarama breathed a sigh of relief. Grandpa Hokage, now the country of Chuan and the village of Tangren have suffered a lot. It is impossible to attack the country of Chen in a short time, so I brought people back. Well, Yao, you did a good job. You've been tired during this time. Now that you're back, take a good rest. Senju Tobarama said very understandingly. Thank you, Grandpa Hokage. Hearing Senju Tobarama's words, Dong Shenyao was Yishi. He was really busy these years, and he never took a lot of rest. Since joining Anbu, I have often needed to perform tasks. Later, I just left Anbu and went to the front line to participate in the battle. Now Dong Shenyao really wants to rest for a while and let himself relax. Then Senju Tobarama asked Dong Shenyao about his life in the camp and let him leave. By the way, Yo, did you know that Uchiha Ida has disappeared? Just as Ta Shenyao got up and was about to leave, Senju Tobarama suddenly said such a sentence. A moment, and for a moment Dong Shenyao thought that Senju Tobarama knew something, but there was no abnormality on his face, just a look of surprise. Deputy Commander, the officer has disappeared. What happened to Grandpa Hokage? Seeing Ta Shenyao's surprised expression, Senju Tobarama immediately explained the whole story. Just a few days after you left the camp, Uchiha Ida disappeared, and now I don't know if I'm alive or dead. Hey, I don't know what happened. It turned out to be like this. I hope the deputy commander is okay. After staring at Dong Shenyao for a moment, Senju Tobarama waved his hand and said, Yao, let's go first. Understood. After speaking, Dong Shenyao turned and left. At this time, he was able to confirm that Senju Tobarama was indeed doubting himself, but he was not worried at all, because the missing person was Uchiha Ida, the deputy of the Uchiha family. Patriarch, don't say it's just suspicion. Dong Shenyao guessed that even if Senju Tobarama can be sure that Uchiha Ida killed him, I'm afraid it won't do anything to him, because Senju Tobarama hates the Uchiha family very much. Isn't it really him? Senju Tobarama whispered when Ta Shenyao left 700. He knew more than Ta Shenyao imagined. After Uchiha Ida disappeared, Senju Tobarama specially investigated. However, he has already found out the festival between Dong Shenyao and the Uchiha clan, and Dong Shenyao has the ability to kill Zunying, so Senju Tobarama will suspect that Uchiha Ida was killed by Dong Shenyao. But just as Ta Shenyao thought, because it was Uchiha Ida who was missing, Senju Tobarama didn't take this matter to heart, so he simply tested Ta Shenyao and overthrew it. If it were replaced with another quasi-shadow, I am afraid Senju Tobarama would have interrogated Ta Shenyao well. Returning to his long-lost home, Dong Shenyao found that the entire room was spotless, apparently being cleaned frequently. At this time, Dong Shenyao was no longer surprised. He knew that Tsunade should have done all this. Thinking of Tsunade, Dong Shenyao couldn't help but feel tenderness in his eyes, but soon he thought of Asuka in the country of Chen. Hey, I don't know if Tsunade can accept Asuka. Let's take one step at a time. Ta Shenyao shook his head helplessly. Because it was still early, Dong Shenyao didn't stay at home. He walked out of the room and wandered the streets of Konoha. Chapter 251 Short Break. Walking on the street, Dong Shenyao found that the atmosphere on the street was quite depressed. It was daytime, and there were many pedestrians on the street before, but unfortunately there were not many people at this time. It seems that the war has had a great impact on Konoha village. Ta Shenyao knew that this should be because of the war. Although the flames of the war did not spread to the land of fire at this time, the impact on Konoha village was not small. Many ninjas went to the battlefield, which reduced the population of Konoha village a lot, and those people who had relatives on the battlefield were probably not in the mood to go shopping. After walking a few more streets, Dong Shenyao found that some people had white cloth hanging on their doors. Apparently someone had died. War is the original sin, but unfortunately, war will never disappear. As long as there are people, there will be fights, and if there are fights, there will be wars. Dong Shenyao shook his head helplessly. Compared with the people in the Hokage world, as a traveler, Dong Shenyao sees war more thoroughly. Although Uzumaki Nagato, Uchiha Madara and others all hope to eliminate war, Tashinyao knows that this is impossible unless the human race is wiped out. As for the so-called infinite Tsukuyomi, even if it really succeeds, it is a different kind of extinction in the eyes of Tashinyao. After all, humans live in a fantasy world, so how can humans reproduce? As for the mutual understanding pursued by Jiraiya and Uzumaki Naruto and others, this kind of Tashinyao seems even more impossible. For unless human beings abandon their desires, human struggles can never be eliminated. But without desire, do human beings have a future? Even relatives will fight for their own interests, not to mention people from different villages and even different countries. At noon, Dong Shenyao went home after having lunch outside, but not long after he came back, he heard a sound from the door, and then the door opened, and footsteps sounded. Dong Shenyao didn't even need to look at it to already know who it was. Apart from himself, Tsunade was the only one who had the key to the house. Sure enough, it didn't take long for Dong Shenyao to see Tsunade walk in. Yao! Entered Tsunade, he saw Dong Shenyao, and after cheering, he rushed towards Dong Shenyao. Seeing this, Dong Shenyao got up quickly, directly caught Tsunade, and then took Tsunade in his arms and turned around. After putting Tsunade down, Dong Shenyao touched Tsunade's hair and said, "Tsunade, you have grown taller." Hearing Tashinyao's words, Tsunade couldn't help laughing happily. "Yao, do you know, I came to you as soon as I learned from the second grandpa that you were back." "I miss you Tsunade too, how was your time?" Dong Shenyao asked with concern. "Not good," said. Tsunade pouted directly, looking aggrieved. "Tsunade, what's wrong with you, is someone bullying you?" Dong Shenyao asked anxiously, with a look of unconcealed concern in his eyes. Seeing this, Tsunade was happy, but his face became more and more aggrieved. "It's just you bullying others, and leaving the village for so long, you don't want to come back to see me. If it wasn't for the second grandpa to stop you, they would have gone to the front line to find you." Seeing Tsunade because of this, Tashinyao was dumbfounded. "Okay Tsunade, I'm back." Dong Shenyao comforted. "Then are you leaving?" Tsunade asked expectantly. "I don't know that either. Everything depends on your grandfather's arrangement." "Then I'll go and let grandpa leave you in the village." With that, Tsunade got up and was about to leave. Tsunade. Seeing this, Dong Shenyao quickly grabbed Tsunade. How could he ask Tsunade to find Senju Tobarama? "Tsunade, I'm a ninja, how can I stay in the village all the time?" "Don't worry, I will stay in the village for a while, and even if I perform missions in the future, I will often come back to the village to see you." Dong Shenyao persuaded. "Okay, but Yao, don't lie to people." This afternoon, Dong Shenyao and Tsunade had been tired of being together, telling each other their experiences in the past half a year. Compared with Tashinyao's relatively rich experience, Tsunade's is much more monotonous. Because the instructor Sarutobi Hiruzen needed to go to the front line to command the battle, Senju Tobarama found a temporary instructor ninja for Tsunade and his group. In addition to teaching the three of them to practice on weekdays, he took them to perform various low-level tasks. So far, Tsunade has only performed a B-level mission, which makes Tsunade very dissatisfied, but there is no way, because according to the regulations, genin can only perform C-level missions at most, and the B-level mission that time was Senju Tobarama. Arranged. Is that so, Tsunade, do you want to do another B-level mission? Of course I thought about it, but the second grandpa won't allow it. Tsunade said with a pouting mouth. Hey, Tsunade will leave it to me. I'll talk to Grandpa Hokage in a few days, and let me lead your team to do the task for the time being. Can this work? Tsunade asked suspiciously. You must know that the one who took them on the mission was an elite Jonin. Originally, it would not be dangerous to perform a B-level mission with the strength of an elite Jonin, but even so, Senju Tobarama would not allow Tsunade and the others to do a B-level mission. In Tsunade's view, no matter how strong Dong Shenyao is, he is at best comparable to the elite Jonin. Tsunade, you don't know, I killed a quasi-cage not long ago. With me, Grandpa Hokage will be relieved. Dong Shenyao said confidently. Zunying. Tsunade's eyes widened immediately. She did not expect that Dong Shenyao's strength had already reached this level after not seeing him for more than half a year. It's so annoying, people's strength is getting farther and farther from yours. Tsunade said in a loss. Tsunade, you are still young. In a few years, your strength will increase by leaps and bounds. Dong Shenyao comforted Tsunade by saying this. Tsunade is only 7 years old now and has not yet reached the time of real development, so it is normal for his strength to grow slowly. Ordinary people will not enter the rapid growth of strength until they are 12 years old. Period, and even a genius needs to be 10 years old. In the blink of an eye, the sky had already dimmed, and after having dinner with Tsunade, Dong Shenyao sent her back home. For the next few days, Dong Shenyao did nothing but accompany Tsunade, and Tsunade didn't go on the mission either. Tsunade had a sense of crisis since she learned about Asuka, the princess of Tatsunoki, but she didn't mention Asuka in front of Tashinyao, she just pestered Tashinya even more. In a flash, 5 days have passed. Chapter 252 Sanin in his youth. Return to Konoha. During these 5 days, Dong Shenyao temporarily put aside everything and accompanies Tsunade wholeheartedly. It was not until the morning of the 6th day that Dong Shenyao brought Tsunade to Senju Tobarama. You mean to temporarily be Tsunade's instructor? When Senju Tobarama learned of Tashinyao's intentions, his eyes widened. That's right, Grandpa Hokage, you see I'm on vacation right now, and I just have nothing to do. Oh Yao, are you free? Then do you want me to arrange some tasks for you? Senju Tobarama teased. Second Grandpa, how can you do this? Yao has just been back for a few days. Before Dong Shenyao could speak, Tsunade quit. Seeing Tsunade's calf-guarding appearance, Senju Tobarama felt a little jealous, but he was also amused. It's really not a girls' college to stay. With a sigh, Senju Tobarama looked at Dong Shenyao and said, well, since that's the case, I'll approve it. After speaking, Senju Tobarama took a piece of paper and wrote some words on it and handed it to Tashinyao. This is the appointment letter, and from now on you are the temporary teacher of Tsunade, Orochimaru and Jiraiya groups. Thank you, Grandpa Hokage. Dong Shenyao quickly took over the appointment letter. When he thought that he was about to become Sanin's teacher, Dong Shenyao felt a little excited. Although it was only a temporary teacher, he was also teacher 333. If it had just been through that period of time, I'm afraid Dong Shenyao would wake up with a smile when he fell asleep. After all, when Sanin grew up, he would say to others, I'm Sanin's teacher. Of course, although Dong Shenyao is still excited now, it is more because he wants to meet the characters in the original book, not because of his identity as a teacher. Because at this time Dong Shenyao is confident, he will not be called the teacher of the 3 when he goes out in the future, but others will point to Sanin and say, see, that is the student that Dong Shenyao taught. Although the content is similar, the meaning expressed is completely opposite. After putting away the appointment letter, Dong Shenyao unceremoniously picked up the task scroll from the table. Yona is the task book for B-level tasks, you should read these. Senju Tobarama took the scrolls of C-level and D-level tasks. Grandpa Hokage, Tsunade and the others have been graduating for more than a year now, and they should perform some difficult tasks. Otherwise, Tsunade and the others can only be flowers in the greenhouse and will never grow up, and this time the team led by I, are you still worried about just a B-level mission? This Senju Tobarama hesitated after hearing Tashinyao's words. Originally, Tsunade and the others were indeed strong enough to perform B-rank missions. It was only because they cared too much about Tsunade's safety that Senju Tobarama would always object. Now that Senju Tobarama was a little shaken after hearing Tashinyao's words. Second Grandpa, just let me perform the B-level mission. Wasn't it okay for us to perform the B-level mission last time? Tsunade also spoke at this time. Okay, but you have to be more careful. Although he knew that there would be no danger with Tashinyao, Senju Tobarama still reminded him out of habit. Yeah, Tsunade suddenly cheered happily, and Dong Shenyao also began to seriously check the quest scroll in his hand. There are many tasks recorded on this scroll, but they are all B-level. Now Dong Shenyao is going to choose a suitable one for Tsunade and the others. Although Tashinyao became this temporary teacher for Tsunade, but since he has become a teacher, Tashinyao is also ready to train Tsunade and the others well. Well, this is not bad, just right for them. Dong Shenyao quickly picked out a task. Grandpa Hokage, I'll take this quest. Dong Shenyao pointed to a quest on the quest scroll. Senju Tobarama looked at it and nodded in satisfaction. That's right, yo, you really have a vision. Well, I'll leave this mission to you. Here's the mission manual. With that, Senju Tobarama took a scroll and handed it to Dong Shenyao. Since it was not the first time to receive a quest, neither Tashinyao nor Tsunade asked much. After receiving the quest, they said goodbye to Senju Tobarama directly. Walking out of Hokage's office, Tsunade couldn't wait to ask. Yao, what kind of mission are you taking? Don't worry about it, you'll find out in a while. What about your other two teammates? Yo, what are you asking them to do? Wouldn't it be better for the two of us to do this task? Tsunade said with a look of anticipation. Tsunade, now that I have become a temporary teacher of your group, I must shoulder the responsibility of the teacher, and this task I have specially selected for the three of you, so please take me to find them quickly. Shenyao said with a straight face. Okay. After saying that, Tsunade reluctantly took Tashinyao to find Jiraiya. If that's right, they're either picking up rubbish by the river or pulling weeds, which is what we used to do. Okay Tsunade, don't be reluctant. I also did these tasks back then. This is also a process that all genins have to go through, so don't complain. Dong Shenyao comforted. Soon, under the guidance of Tsunade, Tashinyao found two Orochimaru who were helping weeds in a farmer's house. Orochimaru and Jiraiya who were still very young, Dong Shenyao was full of emotion. I am afraid no one would have thought that in the future, these two would become famous cage-level powerhouses in the ninja world. Wow, Tsunade, you're finally here. Jiraiya, who was weeding, saw Tsunade by accident, and immediately put down his work and ran over. Tsunade, what have you been doing these days? Why haven't I seen you? Jiraiya questioned. What do I need you to do? After giving Jiraiya a blank look, Tsunade shouted at Orochimaru, come here, Orochimaru. Facing Tsunade's call, Orochimaru raised his head to look at Tsunade, then at Tashinyao who was beside him, and then he put down his work and walked over. Tsunade, do you have anything to do with me? Orochimaru, now our group has a new mission to do. Tsunade was a little excited when he mentioned the new mission. New mission? What new mission? We haven't finished the weeding mission yet. Jiraiya questioned. Hey, I just received a B-level mission, and now we're going. Tsunade said proudly. B-level mission. Wow, that's great, I finally don't have to do such a boring mission as weeding. Jiraiya immediately cheered after hearing this. Chapter 253 Take Sanin on a Mission Part 1. Seeing Jiraiya's happy expression, Orochimaru and Tsunade hurried away from him and acted like I didn't know this person. Looking at Jiraiya who was laughing to himself, apparently caught in some kind of fantasy, Tashinyao was also a little speechless. Although I know that Jiraiya was a little funny when he was young, and his personality is somewhat similar to Naruto, after seeing it with his own eyes, Dong Shenyao was still a little speechless. Bang! The end. Tsunade couldn't stand it any longer. He stepped forward and punched Jiraiya in the head, and the world was quiet. Although Tsunade's chakra-enhanced strength at this time is far from comparable to that after she became famous, but with her current strength, the strength of this punch is also not small, directly knocking Jiraiya to the ground, and then her head bulging at a speed visible to the naked eye. Got a big bag. Oh, it hurts so much. Tsunade, what are you doing? Jiraiya stood up with her head covered, looking at Tsunade in fear and asked. I said, Jiraiya, can you please be quiet? It's so embarrassing to be with you. I don't know how I have a teammate like you. Tsunade covered his forehead with a helpless look. Really, wouldn't it be better to team up with me? With that, Jiraiya looked at Orochimaru. Hey, I said Orochimaru, do you think it's good to team up with me? Hearing this, Orochimaru glanced at Jiraiya slightly, then turned his head away, as if it had nothing to do with me. Okay, don't make trouble. At this time, Dong Shenyao was talking. There was nothing he could do if he didn't speak. He felt that if he didn't speak again, he didn't know when he would be able to perform this task. Hearing Tashinyao's words, Tsunade stopped paying attention to Jiraiya, and went straight to Tashinyao and stood in front of Tashinyao with the appearance of a lady. Seeing Tsunade's current state, even Orochimaru's eyes widened involuntarily, a look of disbelief. Tsunade used to look like a female man in front of them, and they had never seen Tsunade so gentle. Among them, Orochimaru was a little surprised, and Jiraiya was Yuhi, and he found Tsunade in this look more cute. Orochimaru walked to Tsunade silently and stood there, waiting for Dong Shenyao to explain the details of the mission, while Jiraiya looked at Tsunade like a pig brother. Sensing Jiraiya's expression, Dong Shenyao felt dissatisfied for a while. He knew that Jiraiya had a crush on Tsunade, but it was doomed to fail. In the original book, Tsunade liked Kato Dan, but now Tsunade likes Tashinyao. So whether it is the original work or reality, Jiraiya has no chance. Who made him not the protagonist? Bang! Suddenly a stone fell from the sky and hit Jiraiya's head directly. Ah! Jiraiya covered her head again and cried out in pain, then turned her head around and shouted, Who is it? Who dared to attack your family, Mr. Jiraiya? Jiraiya, you haven't come to gather yet. Dong Shenyao scolded. Ah, here it is. Jiraiya didn't even bother to look for the person who attacked him, and hurried over to gather. At this time, Jiraiya seriously looked at Dong Shenyao's appearance. At first, Jiraiya just felt that Dong Shenyao was very young, but the more she looked, the more familiar she felt. By the way, I know you are Dong Shenyao. Hearing Jiraiya's exclamation, Orochimaru couldn't help but flash a gleam in his eyes. Dong Shenyao is still somewhat famous in the village, and Orochimaru has a good memory, so after hearing Jiraiya calling Dong Shenyao's name, Orochimaru already remembered Dong Shenyao's identity. Graduated early at the age of 6, and became a chunin less than half a year after graduation. In the same year, he became a special jonin, the #1 genius in Konoha village. Thinking of some information about Dong Shenyao, Orochimaru's eyes flashed admiration at Dong Shenyao. Color. Orochimaru is also a genius, but he thinks he is still inferior to Tashinyao. You know me. Dong Shenyao was a little surprised. He didn't expect Jiraiya to be able to call out his name. That, eldest brother, you saved me before. Jiraiya said eagerly. Saved you? Dong Shenyao couldn't react for a while. It was during the chunin exam that I was bullied by an Iwagakure, and it was your big brother who saved me, Jiraiya explained. Oh, Dong Shenyao's eyes flashed with surprise. At this time, he also thought that he had indeed rescued a white-haired child at the beginning, and because of this, he had become enmity with Iwagakure. It turns out that the white-haired child turned out to be Jiraiya. Dong Shenyao did not expect that it would be such a coincidence that he would save Jiraiya himself. Okay, Jiraiya, you're welcome. We are all from Konoha village. Since I meet this, I can't stand by. Dong Shenyao said with a smile. This big brother is really kind, not as violent as Tsunade. Jiraiya thought to himself. If Jiraiya knew that Tsunade, whom he had a crush on, liked Tashinyao, I wonder if he would still feel that Tashinyao was kind. Yao, tell me what the mission this time is. Tsunade urged. Seeing Tsunade anxious, Dongshenyao stopped paying attention to Jiraiya, and directly explained the details of the mission. This task was entrusted by the people of Yuming village, the country of fire. It is said that a treasure in their village was snatched by 3 wandering ninjas. We need to take this treasure back, understand? Great, Tsunade cheered directly. Finally can fight ninjas. Jiraiya was equally delighted. Although they also performed a B-level mission last time, they only faced a genin that time, and the 3 of them were not enough. In the end, before Jiraiya shot, that genin was solved by Tsunade and Orochimaru. Jiraiya has been brooding about this matter. This time, there are 3 people in the mission, and they happen to be one of them, so Jiraiya doesn't have to be afraid of being robbed. Although Orochimaru did not speak, there was a smile on his face, obviously very happy to carry out this task. Whoosh! Suddenly there was a sound of breaking the air, and then a young man in his 20s flew over from the side. Hey, what are you 2 doing? Why haven't you done your mission? The young man roared at Jiraiya as soon as he appeared. Ah, Yale teacher. Seeing the person, Jiraiya's face suddenly became bitter, and Orochimaru also frowned slightly. Mr. Yale. Tsunade was not as savage as he was when facing Jiraiya at this time, but gave the young man a very obedient salute. Today is the 5th watch. Ask for a reward, ask for a monthly pass. Thank you, Yang Yi, for your monthly ticket support. Chapter 254 Take Sanin to do the task below. Tsunade, you're back, it's alright, our class is here this time. Yale laughed. That Yale teacher, this time you can take a break for a while. Huh, Tsunade, what do you mean? Yale was a little confused. Without waiting for Tsunade to answer, Tashinyao walked over. Hello Yale Jonin. Hello, I don't know who your excellency is. Seeing that Dong Shenyao was also wearing a Jonin vest, Yale did not dare to neglect. After returning the salute, he asked Dong Shenyao's identity. My name is Tashinyao, and I am temporarily serving as the instructor of the Tsunade 3 in the name of Lord Hokage. This is the appointment letter. Said, Tashinya took out the letter written by Senju Tobarama from his arms and handed it to Yale. Yale took the letter with suspicion and read it again, only to confirm that what Dong Shenyao said was true. He did not expect that Senju Tobarama would let Dong Shenyao take his place. Since this is the case, then I will trouble Dong Shenyao Jonin, but today I have received a D-level task, and I need to wait here. Yale said, pointing to the surrounding fields. Hearing Yale's words, the 3 of Jiraiya suddenly looked disappointed. Although this waiting is only a D-level task, it is not difficult, but it is very troublesome. It will take a whole morning to complete it, but now Jiraiya and the others want to be able to perform that B-level task. Immediately, the 3 of them hurriedly looked at Dong Shenyao with hopeful expressions on their faces, hoping that Dong Shenyao could think of a way. After noticing the expressions on the faces of the 3, Dong Shenyao first smiled at the 3 of them, then looked at Yale and said, Yale Jonin, I just received a B-level mission from Lord Hokage, and I need to leave immediately, so this task of waiting can only be done by Yale Jonin. Quote. Yale was stunned when he heard the words. He didn't expect Dong Shenyao to say this, but he also knew that B-level tasks were more important than D-level tasks. If there was a time limit, then Dong Shenyao should take Jiraiya and the others first. Addition, Senju Tobarama also knew about this, and apparently acquiesced, so Yale, although reluctant, could only take over the task of weeding. Alright then, leave the weeding to me. But I hope you, Jonin, can take care of Tsunade and the others, Yale reminded. Don't worry, this is just a B-level mission, they will be fine with me and Tsunade. After speaking, Dong Shenyao looked at Tsunade and said, now I'll give you half an hour to go home and prepare immediately. Things, gather at the entrance of the village in half an hour. Yes. The 3 of Jiraiya were overjoyed. Trouble Yale teacher. The three of Jiraiya bowed to Yale and then left one after another, and Yale could only smile bitterly when they saw this. Yale Jonan farewell. Goodbye Tashinyao Jonan. After saying goodbye to Yale, Dong Shenyao walked towards the entrance of the village. This Dong Shenyao Jonan is really young, and Lord Hokage can hand over the Tsunade team to him. It seems that this Dong Shenyao's strength is at least an elite Jonan. Yale thought to himself. By the way, why is the name Dong Shenyao so familiar? Where have I heard it? Just as Yale was about to weed, he was suddenly stunned. East Shenyao, that's right. I heard that Gongwei, the quasi-shadow of Tengran village, was killed, and the ninja who killed Gongwei was called Dong Shenyao, right? Yale thought at this time. Shocked, he couldn't believe his guess. After all, to be able to kill Gongwei, at least he has to be a quasi-shadow, but Dong Shenyao is too young, and he looks definitely no more than 16 years old. But although he didn't want to believe it, Yale knew that the two Tobirama should be the same person. Otherwise, how could Senju Tobirama feel at ease to let Tobirama take Tsunade and the others on AB level mission? Yale itself is an elite Jonin, but even so, Senju Tobirama is not at ease to let him take Tsunade and them on AB level mission. Hey, today's young people, it seems that I am really old. Yale sighed helplessly, and then began to concentrate on reading. Came to the entrance of the village and waited for a while. Tsunade was the first to arrive. Are you ready, Tsunade? Dong Shenyao asked. Of course, I basically prepared everything yesterday, Tsunade said proudly. After Tsunade arrived, Jiraiya and Orochimaru also came to the entrance of the village one after another. From the speed of the two, it can be seen that in order to start the mission faster, they all ran home quickly. Okay, let's go. Seeing that everyone had arrived, Dong Shenyao didn't delay, and walked out of the village first, followed by the three Tsunade. After leaving the village, the three of them looked around. Although this is not the first time they have left Konoha, but because of their different moods, the three feel that the surrounding scenery has become extraordinarily charming. Tashinyao was relaxed at first, but when they left Konoha's guarded area, Tashinyao also became vigilant. It was a time of war, and no one dared to confirm whether there were enemy ninjas infiltrating their own country. Dong Shenyao himself was not afraid, but there were three Tsunades now, so Dong Shenyao had to be careful. You three, be careful. Now that you have left the warning area, you may encounter danger at any time, Dong Shenyao said to the three who were unaware. At this time, Tsunade and the three of them were not the future Sannin. Even though Orochimaru was a genius, he didn't have much experience, so there was no response until Dong Shenyao reminded them. Tsunade and Orochimaru reacted immediately. Step up to be careful, observe the movement around you from time to time. Only Jiraiya, who still looked careless, said even more arrogantly, it's good to have enemies, so that the 0.6 uncle can show Kamui. Bang! Another stone fell, hitting Jiraiya directly on the head. Who the hell did it? Jiraiya shouted, covering her head. It's me. Dong Shenyao turned to look at Jiraiya. Ah, it's your benefactor. Jiraiya, don't call me a benefactor, now I'm your teacher, so you can just call me a teacher. And you're just a genin now, not a cage-level master, so don't be so arrogant, because there are many ninjas in the world. People are the ones you can't afford to provoke now. Dong Shenyao reminded. Oh, I know the teacher. Maybe it was because Dong Shenyao was his benefactor, so Jiraiya was very obedient and lowered his head directly, not daring to continue to be arrogant. Chapter 255 Pornography Gambling. I know you're all inexperienced, so now I'm going to tell you some things to watch out for when you're out on a mission. Although there should be some instructions in the textbook, it is far from enough. There are many things that ninjas need to pay attention to when they go out. The first is the most basic: vigilance. Ninjas must be vigilant when they go out to perform tasks, especially the kind of protection tasks. We need to be vigilant at all times to prevent the enemy from attacking our protection targets. And even if it's not a protection mission, it's a mission like ours now, you have to be careful when you go out, because there are many enemies in our Konoha village. Once you encounter an enemy, they won't care if you're executing it or not. Task. So when you go out, you must be vigilant and prevent sneak attacks or traps that may appear on the road at any time, just like there. Speaking, Dong Shenyao raised his hand, and suddenly a kunai shot out. Bang! Kunai directly hit the ground more than 10 meters away, and then saw kunai disappear on the ground in an instant, replaced by a trap pit. Ah, there's really a trap. When 15 saw the pit, the three Tsunade opened their mouths wide. They didn't see it just now. If it wasn't for Dong Shenyao's reminder, I'm afraid someone would fall into it soon. Okay, don't be nervous, such an obvious trap is obviously not set up by ninjas, and there is no one around here, so it should be set by hunters for hunting. Hearing Dong Shenyao's words, Tsunade and the three were embarrassed, because it was such an obvious trap that they didn't even find it. Although the book has taught you many things, it is useless without practice. Dong Shenyao said earnestly. Hearing that, the three Tsunade nodded solemnly. At this time, they had already discovered that learning alone was useless, and practice was needed. They had been taught how to identify traps in books before, but just now they hadn't even discovered the traps laid out by ordinary hunters. Seeing the three people looking contemplative, Dong Shenyao couldn't help but smile with satisfaction. As a teacher for the first time, Dong Shenyao is also ready to do something well. He doesn't want to be like Kakashi in the original book, a group of 3 people, except for Sasuke, the other 2 directly ignore it. How is Kakashi's strength? Tashinyao doesn't make any comments, but as a teacher, Kakashi is obviously very unqualified. There are 3 people in a class, except Sasuke, the other 2 don't teach much at all, except for one climbing a tree, other not taught much. Compared with Sasuke, Naruto and Sakura are like stepmothers. The end, almost all of Naruto's skills were taught by Jiraiya, while Sakura's skills were taught by Tsunade. For such an irresponsible teacher, Tashinyao despises him very much, and naturally he will not learn from Kakashi. Although Tashinyao is only a temporary teacher, and from the original work, it can be known that the 3 Tsunade's future achievements are not small. But even so, Dong Shenyao still had to teach the 3 of them something. Okay, what I told you just now, think about it for yourself in the future, and now I'll tell you something else. There is a saying that goes well, that the people take food as their heaven. Whether it is ordinary people or our ninjas, they all need to eat. If they don't have enough to eat, they will have no physical strength to fight, so eating is also a very critical issue when performing tasks. Jiraiya's face suddenly changed when he heard Dong Shenyao's words, but it quickly returned to normal, so no one saw it. Food is essential, and when we ninjas go out to perform tasks, sometimes we bring our own dry food, and sometimes we need to source materials on the spot. Among them, if we are performing a secret mission, or we cannot reveal our location during the mission, it is best to bring dry food so that we do not need to make a fire. Of course, it is also possible to not bring dry food, because there are many things in nature that we can eat raw. For example, wild fruits, wild vegetables and some insects or small animals are our food when necessary. Yeah, I can understand wild fruits and wild vegetables. Can insects and small animals be eaten raw? Tsunade asked with a puzzled look. Of course, some ants, worms and other things are very nutritious, as well as mice, snakes, etc., all of which can be eaten raw. Dong Shenyao said with a look of reminiscence. When he was still in Anbu, sometimes it would take many days to perform the mission, and the dry food he carried was simply not enough, and he was still in the enemy's territory, so he couldn't make a fire at all, so Dong Shenyao and the others all relied on wild fruits. There are also these insects and the like to satisfy the hunger. It's disgusting, Tsunade said, vomiting. Not only her, but also Jiraiya, but Orochimaru, who nodded in agreement. Disgusting, Dong Shenyao sneered. Although disgusting, it can save lives. You say, in the face of death and disgust, what do you choose? Disgusting, Orochimaru said firmly. On the other hand, Tsunade and Jiraiya were lost in thought. As expected of Orochimaru, Looking at Orochimaru, Tashinyao didn't know what to say, because in Tashinyao's opinion, eating some insects should not be disgusting for Orochimaru, because Orochimaru will be much more disgusting than this in the future. Thinking of Orochimaru's appearance with mucus all over his body when he peeled off his skin, Tashinyao felt a little chill. After Tsunade and Jiraiya thought for a moment, they both made choices. Disgusting. No way, no one wants to die, especially starvation. Tsunade's choice of Dongshenyao was not surprising. Seeing both of them made a choice, Dongshenyao didn't deliberately catch some bugs for them to try. Okay, that's all I have to say when it comes to food, and what I'm going to talk about next is pornography, gambling and drugs. Yellow gambling and drugs. Tsunade and the three were taken aback for a while, wondering why Dongshenyao suddenly mentioned this. After looking at the three of them, Dongshenyao explained, when ninjas go out to perform tasks, they must not be careful of three things: Hulong, gambling and drugs. Hulong naturally refers to women, and if ninjas are addicted to female sex is easy to be used by the enemy. It should be noted that there are also women among the enemies. Gambling is gambling. Tsunade, I know you like to gamble, but you must not gamble when performing tasks, otherwise it will easily delay things. Speaking of which, Dongshenyao deliberately glanced at Tsunade. But when Dongshenyao deliberately took care of him, Tsunade stuck out his tongue and head embarrassedly. The last is poison. This is the most important. Chapter 256 Moonstone. The last thing is poison. This is the most important. Speaking of which, Dongshenyao paused. Seeing that Tsunade and the three of them were listening carefully to their words, Dongshenyao continued, poison, use it well, it can be our arm to deal with the enemy. But once you accidentally get poisoned by the enemy, then it would be a very dangerous thing. In the future, you must be careful when you perform tasks, especially when you eat, and you must not eat anything casually, because you don't know whether these things were arranged by the enemy and whether they have been poisoned. In addition to eating, be careful with the enemy's weapons when fighting, because the enemy's weapons are likely to be poisoned, especially in Sunagakure village, they are the best at using poison. The puppets of Sunagakure village are basically all with highly poisonous. If you encounter it in the future, you must be careful. In this way, while the few people were on their way, Dongshenyao explained various precautions to the Tsunade three. Of course, Dongshenyao did not forget to observe the surrounding situation. On the way, Dongshenyao's Byakugan was not idle, and was always there. Observe the situation around. The journey was relatively peaceful, because with Tsunade and the others, it was already noon, but they were still a long way from their destination, Yuming village. Okay, let's stop first. Now it's time to eat at noon. Only when we are full can we have the strength to fight in the afternoon. Dongshenyao said after stopping. Yes. The three Tsunade responded in unison, but Jiraiya's face turned pale. The four of them directly found an open space to rest, and Dongshenyao did not forget to set up some simple traps around. Of course, he did this entirely to teach Tsunade and the three of them. After arranging everything, Dongshenyao took out the dry food and said, let's eat. Yao. Just when Dongshenyao was about to eat his dry food, Tsunade stopped him, and then saw Tsunade take out a lunch box from his backpack. Yo, I made a lot of food when I was preparing it. If you don't mind it, eat it. With that, Tsunade stretched out his hands and handed the lunch box to Tashinya. At this time, Tsunade's head was buried deep between his arms, and he didn't dare to look at Dongshenyao. Dongshenyao found that Tsunade's ears were already red, and he was obviously shy. As for Tsunade's so-called excess food, Dongshenyao certainly knew that this was just an excuse. Obviously, Tsunade prepared it for himself, but he was embarrassed to say it. Although Tashinyao expressed doubts about Tsunade's cooking skills, it was Tsunade's heart no matter what, so Tashinyao certainly couldn't refuse. At the same time, Jiraiya's eyes widened, staring at the lunchbox. This turned out to be Tsunade's love bento. Damn it, why did Tsunade prepare it for Dongshenyao, but not me? Jiraiya roared in his heart, and watched Dong Shenyao take the lunchbox. Thank you, Tsunade. No, no thanks. With that, Tsunade took out another lunchbox from his bag without raising his head, then opened the lid and buried his head to eat. Seeing Tsunade's shy face, Dongshin's dazzling eyes showed love. That's Tsunade, Jiraiya said suddenly. What's the matter? Tsunade asked without looking up. Do you have any extra lunch? I forgot to prepare lunch. Jiraiya said, slightly yuhi on her cheeks. Because he was in a hurry to perform the task, he walked in a hurry. Jiraiya did not prepare food at all. He didn't remember it until he heard Dong Shenyao talking about the food. No more, Tsunade said and ignored Jiraiya. I see. Jiraiya was a little frustrated. Okay, I'll give you my dry food. Said, Dong Shenyao handed the dry food to Jiraiya. With the love bento prepared by Tsunade, Dong Shenyao will naturally not eat the cold and hard dry food again. But Jiraiya didn't care, but said gratefully, thank you teacher. Seeing that Jiraiya took the dry food and started eating, Dong Shenyao opened the lid of the lunchbox. Completely opposite to the bento that Dong Shenyao expected, this bento not only looks good, but also tastes very fragrant. After taking a bite, Dong Shenyao immediately exclaimed, Tsunade did not expect your cooking skills to be so good. The bento was so delicious. Quote. Tsunade was happy when he heard Tashinyao's words. That's great, Yao likes to eat the food I make. It seems that my previous efforts were not in vain. Tsunade thought excitedly. In order to learn cooking before, Tsunade deliberately studied with his mother for a long time, in order to let Dong Shenyao taste his own craftsmanship. After more than an hour, the four who had eaten lunch and rested for a while hit the road again. After walking for only 2 hours, the four finally came to Yuming Village. The client of this mission is Yuming Village. It is said that the treasures of their village have been robbed, but they don't know where the treasurer is now, and they need to come to Yuming Village to ask. As soon as he entered the village, Dong Shenyao found that there were many collapsed houses in the village, and it seemed that these houses should have collapsed recently. Seeing a stranger approaching, several villagers quickly gathered around. Ah, it's the forehead guard of Konoha village. Are you the ninjas of Konoha village? When the villagers saw the forehead guards of Dong Shenyao and others, they suddenly asked in surprise. That's right, we are Konoha ninjas. We were entrusted by your village. I don't know who the entrusted person is. Dong Shenyao questioned. It's a task that we all entrusted together, but the village chief is mainly responsible for this matter. You come with me. I saw a young man very enthusiastically brought Dong Shenyao and the others to the village chief of Yuming village. Looking at the old man in front of him, Dong Shenyao asked, Is your excellency the head of Yuming village? That's right, I'm the village head Yudev. The old man looked at the eastern god with kindness and said. Then I wonder if the village chief Yudev can explain the task to us in detail, so that we can find the treasures for you. Hearing this, Yudev said after a moment of silence, Well, since it's already like this, it's okay to tell you, there was a treasure in our village called the Moonlight Stone, and it was because of the Moonlight Stone that our village was called Moonlight Village. Originally, no one knew about the Moonlight Stone except the people in our village, so our Moonlight Village has always been in peace. But I didn't expect that just 3 months ago, there was a person in our village who wanted to steal the Moonlight Stone to sell it for money, but he was found out in the end, so he didn't succeed. It's just that that person also violated the village rules of our village, so I expelled him from the village. How could I imagine that this person would collude with outsiders? Speaking of this, village chief Yudev sighed again. Chapter 257 Moon Kiba Mountain. Through the narration of the head of Yuming village, Dong Shenyao and several others also understood what happened. To put it simply, the villagers of Yuming village were expelled from the village because they wanted to steal the Moonlight Stone, so they violated the village rules. Which led these wandering ninjas to Yuming village to steal the Moonlight Stone. Lord Ninjas, I'll ask you for the Moonlight Stone. You must help us get it back. Speaking of this, the village chief Yudev burst into tears. The village chief can rest assured, this matter is left to us, and we will definitely take back the Moonlight Stone. Before waiting for the captain, Dong Xinyao, to speak, Jiraiya stepped forward and patted his chest to assure. Thank you, little brother. I am sorry to trouble you. As long as we can get back the Moonlight Stone, our village will definitely thank you a lot. Grandpa, I heard that the Konoha ninjas are coming. Where are they? Yudith Village's voice just fell, and suddenly a young voice sounded, and then with a rush of footsteps from far to near, a small child ran into the room. Grandpa, where are the ninjas in Konoha village? The child asked as he ran to Yudith's side. These are the ninjas of Konoha village. The old man pointed at Dong Xinyao and said. Ah, it's them. After taking a look at Dong Xinyao, the child looked very disappointed. Grandpa, these people don't look very old, especially these three people. They are not as old as me. How could they beat those vicious robbers? The child looked at Dong Xinyao with disdain. Humane. Seeing that he was despised by a child, the three Tsunade were furious. What are you talking about, kid? I'm Lord Jiraiya. Don't look at me young. I'm very powerful. Jiraiya glared at the child and shouted. Hearing Jiraiya's words, the child turned his head and grimaced at him. Damn it. Seeing how Jiraiya could bear it, she was going to teach the child a lesson. Okay, Jiraiya. Seeing this, Dong Xinyao quickly grabbed Jiraiya. Joke, they're here for a quest, and if they hit the client before the quest has started, then Konoha's reputation will be over. At this moment, the village chief Yudith looked a little embarrassed. Don't worry about it, everyone. This is my grandson. He is young and ignorant, and if he offends him, I hope the ninja Samahihan. The village chief is polite. We won't take it to heart. Don't worry, since we have already taken over the task, we will naturally complete it, but I wonder if the village chief knows where the wandering ninja who stole the Moonlight Stone went. Of course, Dong Xinyao didn't care about anything with a brat, and directly asked for information. I know, after those wandering ninjas left, we deliberately inquired about their whereabouts. Now those people should be on Mount Kiba, 10 miles west of our village. You can find them there. Well, without further ado, let's go now. Ah, Lord Ninja, it's getting late, or you can rest in the village for a night, and it's not too late to go tomorrow. Yudith suggested. Thank you for the kindness of the village chief, but no need, it's important. Dong Xinyao directly declined Yudith's proposal, and then walked out of the room with Tsunade and the three of them. When he was leaving, the child did not forget to make faces at Dong Xinyao and others. Jiraiya was very angry again when he saw this. If it wasn't for Tsunade and Orochimaru, he would have gone up to teach the child a lesson. Damn, looking down on us. Jiraiya said angrily after leaving the village. Jiraiya, if you're really angry, then complete the task well, and bring back the moonstone to prove yourself. Instead of complaining here, Orochimaru said coldly. Yes, Orochimaru is right, I'm also angry, but I prefer to slap people in the face, Tsunade agreed. Okay, I'm going to show that little brat, Lord Jiraiya, will definitely retrieve the moonstone, let's go. After shouting, Jiraiya trotted towards the Moon Kiba mountain. Seeing the behavior of Jiraiya's living treasure, Dong Xinyao felt helpless for a while. Kiba mountain is only about 10 miles away from Yuming village, so in less than half an hour, a group of 4 had arrived at the foot of Kiba mountain. Looking up, several people found that Kiba mountain is not high this month, not even 100 meters away, but there are many trees on the mountain, so the line of sight is blocked, but it is impossible to confirm whether there is anyone on the mountain. Standing at the foot of the mountain, Dong Xinyao looked at the Tsunade 3 and said, this mission is mainly for training you, so unless necessary, I will not take action, and I will not remind you that everything depends on yourselves. Understood, Sensei. The 3 Tsunade nodded in unison, and at this time Tsunade also called Dong Xinyao to Sensei. After speaking, Dong Xinyao stood directly aside. Just as he said, everything was left to Tsunade and the others, and Dong Xinyao couldn't speak. Looking at the 3 people discussing there, Dong Xinyao called out the exchange panel, and he was going to see what the moonstone was. This is also another way that Dong Shenyao discovered the exchange system, because the exchange system claims to have all the items in the Hokage world, so as long as you encounter something you don't know, Dong Shenyao can use it in the exchange system find, and the exchange system has a detailed introduction to the things inside. Soon Dong Shenyao found the Moonlight Stone in the exchange system, but after reading the introduction of the Moonlight Stone, his expression became a little serious. It looks like Tsunade and the others are going to be in trouble. Dong Shenyao thought to himself. Soon the three Tsunade had already negotiated a plan, and then the three of them ignored Dong Shenyao and rushed towards the mountain in the shape of a pin. Among them, Orochimaru walked in the front, Tsunade and Jiraiya followed behind. Seeing that the Tsunade and the three started to act, Dong Shenyao was not idle either. Although he would not take action easily, in order to ensure the safety of the three, Dong Shenyao still had to follow him. Along the way, the three of Orochimaru moved forward cautiously. Because they had been reminded by Dong Shenyao before, the three of them also carefully observed when they were on their way to see if there were any traps. However, until the three of them came to the top of the mountain, they did not find a trap, but when the three of them came to the top of the mountain, they were instantly alert because they found 3 tents on the top of the mountain. Thank you, Night Moon, for your monthly ticket support. Chapter 258 The Power of the Moonstone Part 1. After seeing 3 tents on the top of the mountain, Tsunade and the three suddenly became vigilant. Because there are tents, it means that there are people here. I'll take a look, Jiraiya said, and then strode towards the tent. Be careful, Jiraiya, Tsunade reminded, while Orochimaru clenched the kunai in his hand. Despite Tsunade's reminder, Jiraiya was still carefree and walked towards the tent with big strides. Just when Jiraiya was still about 10 feet away from the tent, suddenly his feet were empty, and then the whole person disappeared directly on the ground. Trap! Seeing this scene, the two Tsunade were shocked. Whoosh whoosh. The sound of breaking the air sounded, and I saw 3 figures flying out of the 3 tents. Ha ha ha, it turns out that all of you are little ghosts. It seems that you have just become ninjas. You can even catch such a simple trap. The blue-haired man in the lead raised his head and laughed loudly. Full of sarcasm. Damn, Tsunade was furious. Brother, these 2 little dolls will be handed over to us. The 2 wandering ninjas beside the blue-haired ninja asked for instructions. Alright, I'll leave these 2 to you, the blue-haired ninja said indifferently. Hearing this, the 2 subordinates of the blue-haired ninja walked towards Tsunade with a wicked smile. Hey, don't be afraid, little ones, Uncle will be very gentle. A fat ninja smirked. Go to hell. Tsunade raised his hand and threw several shurikens straight out. Dang dang dang. As soon as the fat ninja raised his hand, he waved the shuriken that Tsunade had called directly to the ground, but the fat ninja stopped because of this. That's a lot of power. The fat ninja was surprised, and at the same time he was holding Kunai's hand shaking slightly. Although Tsunade has little combat experience, she is a genuine chunin in terms of level, and the shuriken she throws is certainly not that easy to block. At the same time, Orochimaru has also moved, but his target is the tall ninja on the other side. Seeing Orochimaru waving kunai rushing towards him, the taller smiled disdainfully, and then did not dodge. Facing Orochimaru's stab at kunai, the tall ninja raised his arm directly to block kunai in front of him. When the 2 people's kunai collided, and there was a symphony of gold and iron, and then the short Orochimaru was seen not moving, but the tall ninja took 2 steps back. What? The tall ninja was taken aback. He didn't expect Orochimaru to be so powerful that he could knock himself back. Orochimaru chased after the victory, and after forcing the tall ninja back, he just landed and chased up again with his feet. Dang dang dang. In the blink of an eye, the 2 fought more than 10 moves. This Orochimaru is worthy of being a genius ninja, although he is not as noble as Tsunade, but due to his talent, plus Orochimaru himself has worked very hard, so the strength of this Orochimaru has already been reached at this time. Reached the level of chunin. And when Orochimaru and the tall ninja were fighting, Tsunade and the fat ninja were already fighting. Compared with Orochimaru, Tsunade's strength is even stronger, especially in taijutsu. Whether it is strength or speed, Tsunade has to overwhelm Orochimaru. And the strength of this fat ninja is comparable to that of a tall ninja. They are just ordinary genins, so they have no power to fight back against Tsunade's attack. At this time, the fat ninja regretted in his heart, knowing that Tsunade was so strong, he would not take the initiative and leave it to the boss. Bang! Suddenly, the fat ninja couldn't dodge, and was kicked in the stomach by Tsunade, and the huge body flew out. At the same time, a kunai shot out of the woods beside him. Bang! The fat ninja fell to the ground, and then the kunai shot from the woods directly hit the ground beside him. Before the fat ninja could react, he saw that the detonating talisman tied behind the kunai was already burning. Up! Boom! The explosion sounded, and the fat ninja was shrouded in smoke and did not know whether to live or die. What? Seeing this scene, the blue-haired ninja was taken aback for a moment, but he did not expect that there were still people in the woods. At this moment, a white-haired ninja came out. It was Jiraiya who had just fallen into the trap. Why are you? The blue-haired ninja was stunned when he saw Jiraiya. Hey, that was just my shadow clone just now, Jiraiya said proudly. At this time, Dong Shenyao, who was hiding in the woods, smiled in satisfaction. Yes, I know how to use tricks. Dong Shenyao has been watching the actions of the Tsunade three people. Just as they were going up the mountain, Jiraiya had already created a shadow clone, but his body was hidden in the dark. It was precisely because it was shadow clone that he was so careless when he walked towards the tent, without looking to see if there were any traps under his feet. Soon the smoke dissipated, and I saw the fat ninja lying in a big pit in ragged clothes. At this time, his body was covered in blood, and his life and death were unknown. Damn, I'm going to kill you. Seeing his subordinates become like this, the blue-haired ninja was furious, and immediately pulled out the samurai sword at his waist and rushed towards Tsunade and the two. Dang dang dang. Tsunade waved his kunai to meet him, and the two of them fought several tricks in an instant. The blue-haired ninja's complexion changed as soon as he fought, because he found that he didn't seem to be Tsunade's opponent, at least in terms of strength and speed, he couldn't compare to Tsunade. This blue-haired ninja is only an elite genin, which is not comparable to Tsunade, but because of his rich fighting experience, he can still stop Tsunade. But as Jiraiya joins the fight, the blue-haired ninja's situation becomes a little more critical. And just when the fat ninja was solved, the tall ninja didn't last long, and was buried in the ground by Orochimaru's heart beheading technique, and then he was beheaded to death. After taking out the tall ninja, Orochimaru didn't rush to help, but stayed on guard. Damn! Seeing that the two subordinates were resolved, and he himself was in danger, the blue-haired ninja suddenly became anxious. Give me death! Suddenly, the blue-haired ninja roared, and then swung a knife at Tsunade and the two of them in the air. Shoo! Just when Tsunade and the two were puzzled, a knife in the shape of a white moon kiba shot out and went straight to hit Tsunade and the two of them. Feeling the huge energy contained in the energy bullet, Tsunade and the two changed their expressions, and then hurriedly dodged. Boom! The energy bomb bombarded the ground, and the explosion sounded suddenly, and the smoke and dust spread out. It's so powerful! Seeing this scene, the three Tsunade were surprised. Thank you for the monthly ticket support of Open Black Lens Bracket. You are close Black Lens Bracket. Chapter 259 The Power of the Moonstone Part 2. Although the three Tsunade had already felt the large amount of chakra contained in the kiba-shaped energy bomb that month, they were still shocked after seeing the power of the energy bomb. It's comparable to C-rank ninjutsu, Orochimaru murmured, and looked at the blue-haired man in confusion. He couldn't understand how the man could be so powerful when he just waved his samurai sword. Energy bomb. On the other hand, Dong Shenyao, who was in the woods, was not at all surprised at this time, because he already knew about this. Sure enough, it seems that these people know the function of the Moonlight Stone. Dong Shenyao thought to himself. In the exchange system before, Dong Shenyao has seen the detailed introduction to the Moonlight Stone. In the system, the Moonlight Stone belongs to the B-level exchange item, which is not low, and the Moonlight Stone has two functions. One can be used as energy. This moonstone can absorb the power of moonlight and store it, just like a battery. There is another function, that is, as a weapon like the current blue-haired ninja. If the moonstone is stimulated by chakra, it can send out energy bombs, which are the Kiba-shaped energy bombs of the moon that the blue-haired ninjas issued before. As for why it was issued from the samurai sword, this happened because the blue-haired warrior embedded the Moonlight Stone on the samurai sword. It was precisely because he knew the function of the Moonlight Stone that Tashinyao said before that Tsunade and the others would have to work harder. The energy bullets fired by the Moonstone are at least as powerful as sea-level ninjutsu, and they don't require a hand seal, so they can be fired smoothly. And sea-level ninjutsu can only be used by chunin, and it also requires a hand seal. And the reason why the Moonlight Stone is defined by the system as a B-level item is that the Moonlight Stone can also emit energy bullets comparable to the power of B-level ninjutsu. It can be said that with the Moonlight Stone, even if the strength of the blue-haired ninja is only the elite genin, it is enough to fight the elite chunin. Ha ha ha, little brat, give me death. Laughing loudly, the blue-haired ninja waved his samurai sword again, and suddenly another Kiba-shaped energy catapult shot out. Hurry up. Boom. The energy bomb hit the ground again, but because of the high speed, Jiraiya dodged a little slower, was hit by the shock wave, and his body flew out involuntarily. Bang. Finally Jiraiya's body smashed to the ground, splashing a puff of dust. Jiraiya, are you okay? Tsunade asked. Not yet, Jiraiya said, biting on Kiba, enduring the pain in her body. Although Jiraiya's strength is not as strong as Tsunade, but he is also the strength of the elite genin, so the shock wave of the mere explosion will not kill him. I'll try it first. Orochimaru greeted and took the lead. I saw Orochimaru raise his hand, and suddenly more than a dozen shuriken shot out. It's useless. The blue-haired ninja sneered disdainfully, waved his samurai sword again, and the energy bullet fired, directly blocking the lily sword, and then the energy bullet hit Orochimaru unabated. Orochimaru, be careful. Boom. Explosion sounded, and Orochimaru was directly hit. Seeing this scene, Tsunade's eyes were divided. At this time, the three had not yet reached the time when the swordsmen faced each other in the original novel. The three had been together for more than a year, and they had a good relationship with each other. Now that Orochimaru has an accident, both Tsunade are very sad. I'm fine. At this time, Orochimaru emerged from the ground on the side, and then as the smoke dissipated, only a puddle of dirt was left on the ground. It turned out that the energy bomb just hit the soil clone. The speed of the energy bullets is too fast, but I think he can only fire one at a time, so to defeat him, we must act at the same time and attack from different directions. Orochimaru calmly analyzed. That's fine, but forget Jiraiya, he's weaker. No, hearing Tsunade's words, Jiraiya directly vetoed. We are in a group, since you have all shot, how can I stand by? Jiraiya said stubbornly. Okay, let's go together, but be careful, Jiraiya, Orochimaru reminded. Although Orochimaru was relatively silent at this time, he could not see the cold blood in the later stage. I know, Orochimaru, I'm not strong enough, so I'll attract attention, and the rest will be left to you. After that, Jiraiya shot directly. Seeing Jiraiya attacking him, the blue-haired ninja smiled disdainfully, and after a while of katana, a moon-shaped Kiba-shaped energy bullet hit Jiraiya. It's now. Seeing this, Tsunade and the two seized the opportunity and immediately shot. From two different directions, the two threw shuriken to attack the blue-haired ninja at the same time, and the two also charged towards the blue-haired ninja with kunai in their hands. Not good. The blue-haired ninja was startled when he noticed the actions of the two Tsunade, and immediately ignored Jiraiya, and hurriedly dodged, and just when he dodged the shuriken attack, Tsunade and the two had approached him. In the face of the siege of the two, the blue-haired ninja was a little bit in a hurry for a while. In the end, if you don't count the Moonlight Stone, he is just an elite genin. At this time, Jiraiya also joined the battle after dodging the attack of the energy bullet. Get out of here! The blue-haired ninja suddenly shouted, and then saw the katana sword in his hand suddenly emit a dazzling white light, and then a powerful energy emanated from the katana sword and spread out around. Hurry up! Tsunade and the three were startled when they saw this scene, and then hurriedly dodged, but in the end, they were one step late, and the three of them were hit by the white light and flew out at the same time. Bang! The last three fell to the ground, setting off a puff of dust. Give me death! Seeing that the three of them were repelled, the blue-haired ninja wielded a white light katana and slashed towards the three, and suddenly a white light Jinchuriki column shot straight at the three. At this moment, the faces of Tsunade's three people changed suddenly, because they found that the chakra contained in the white light Jinchuriki column was stronger than the previous energy bombs, and it had almost reached the level of B-rank ninjutsu. Boom! The explosion sounded from the distance, and the three Tsunade were enveloped by the light Jinchuriki column. Seeing this scene, the blue-haired ninja laughed proudly. Ha ha ha, as long as I have the Moonlight Stone, I'm invincible. Obviously, the blue-haired ninja was a little swollen, and he thought he was the best in the world after defeating three children. After a while, the smoke dissipated, and when the blue-haired ninja saw the situation of the Tsunade 3, he was stunned. Chapter 260 Mission completed. When the blue-haired ninja was about to see the situation of the Tsunade 3, he found a stone wall appeared in front of the three. What's the situation? The blue-haired ninja was stunned, but at the same time, the three Tsunade felt like they had survived the catastrophe. Yao shot. Tsunade was the first to come back to his senses, and said with a look of joy. Teacher is amazing, just a stone wall blocked such a powerful attack. Jiraiya said with a look of admiration. Orochimaru didn't speak, but a look of longing appeared on his face. At this time, Dong Shenyao did not continue to carry it in the woods, and walked out directly. Are you all right? Dong Shenyao asked as he walked over to the three of them. It's okay, teacher, you are too powerful, you must teach me. Jiraiya looked at Dongshin with admiration and said. We'll talk about this in a while, since there's nothing to do, we'll deal with the enemy first. Said, Dong Shenyao waved his hand, and the stone wall in front of him disappeared into the ground and disappeared. Hem 15. Seeing that the stone wall disappeared, there was a person behind the stone wall, and the blue-haired ninja suddenly became alert. It's from Konoha again. The blue-haired ninja soon discovered Tashinyao's forehead guard, but what caught his attention the most was the green vest on Tashinyao's body. It turned out to be Jonin. The blue-haired ninja suddenly widened his eyes. Hand over the Moonlight Stone. Dong Shenyao said lightly, looking at the blue-haired ninja. Damn, what about Jonin? Give me death. With a roar, the blue-haired ninja wielded a samurai sword, and suddenly another white light Jinchuriki column shot out. Boom! A stone wall suddenly rose in front of Dong Shenyao, directly blocking the white light Jinchuriki column. Seeing that his attack was blocked, the blue-haired ninja waved his hand again, and then shot a white light again. Jinchuriki column. But it was still useless, and the stone wall was also not damaged in the slightest. Current strength. The stone wall he condensed does not have the strength of the elite Jonin, so don't try to break it, and even the elite Jonin needs to go all out. And just when the blue-haired ninja was about to continue to attack, an embarrassing scene appeared. I saw the blue-haired ninja wave his hand, but unlike before, this time there was no light from the Jinchuriki column, and the light on the katana also dimmed. Not a lot. What's going on? The blue-haired ninja was stunned. Through Byakugan, Dong Shenyao smiled, and then put away the stone wall, because it was no longer needed. Since you don't want to hand over the Moonlight Stone, then just die. Dong Shenyao raised his hand. Doden, Earth-style, rock rain. A large number of earth thorns condensed beside Dong Shenyao, and then the earth thorns quickly shot towards the blue-haired ninja like raindrops. No. The blue-haired ninja was shocked when he saw this, and hurriedly waved his samurai sword, but in the end he just fired 2 energy bullets in the shape of a moon kiba, and then the light on the samurai's sword disappeared completely, and this time even the energy bullets could not be fired. And the two moon kiba-shaped energy bullets only blocked a part of the soil thorns, and the remaining soil thorns directly pierced the blue-haired ninja. PFF'd, PFF'd, PFF'd. In an instant, the blue-haired ninja turned into a hedgehog, with hundreds of thorns on his body, and blood gurgled out. Puff. The blue-haired ninja's body fell directly to the ground. Wow! As expected of a teacher, he wiped out the enemy with a wave of his hand, so handsome. Jiraiya exclaimed when she saw Dong Shenyao killing the blue-haired ninja with ease. Tsunade, on the other hand, looked at Dong Shenyao with a look of love. A strong man would naturally make women like him. Sooner or later, I will become a man as powerful as Tashinyao-sensei. Orochimaru swore secretly in his heart. After solving the blue-haired warrior, Dong Shenyao walked over, picked up the samurai sword he was using, and then looked at it for a while, and finally found a moon kiba-shaped stone on the hilt of the samurai sword. The stone was buckled down. Although it was the first time I saw it, Dong Shenyao knew that this was the moonlight stone. You guys have a good rest first, and we'll go down the mountain in a while. After getting the moonlight stone, this task was basically completed, and Dong Shenyao walked up to the three of them. Teacher, what about the moonstone? Jiraiya asked. Here and here, said. Dong Shenyao handed the stone in the shape of kiba that month to the three of them. Is this the moonlight stone? It looks so ordinary, Jiraiya said with some disappointment. Teacher, how did the moonlight stone end up on that person's samurai sword? Orochimaru asked curiously. Orochimaru had just seen Dong Shenyao's movement to take the moonlight stone, so he asked this question. Because this is what the moonlight stone does. Dong Shenyao explained with a smile. What? Jiraiya didn't know why, but Orochimaru and Tsunade were thinking. Looking at Jiraiya, Dong Shenyao was a little speechless. He really couldn't understand how Jiraiya's mind could become so powerful in the future. And just when Dong Shenyao was about to explain, Orochimaru said, if there is no guesswork, the previous energy bullet and the light Jinchuriki column should be the credit of this moonlight stone. That's right, what Orochimaru said is right. This is the function of the moonlight stone. The moonlight stone contains the power of the moonlight. If you use chakra, you can mobilize the energy inside to attack. Dong Shenyao explained the moon in detail. The role of the stone of light has been said 073 times. Wow, it's so powerful, even if a genin has it, he can beat Chunin. Jiraiya said in surprise. Of course it's not that simple, the energy contained in the moonlight stone is limited, just like the blue-haired ninja just now. You should have seen that. In the end he can no longer use the energy light Jinchuriki column and energy bombs. If you with the combat experience can be enriched, then it will not be in trouble. Chunin with rich combat experience, you will not have a head-on conflict with the blue-haired ninja, but will first find out the information of the energy bullet, so you still need to learn a lot. Dong Shenyao said earnestly. This time even Jiraiya didn't speak, and the three of them lowered their heads in deep thought. The so-called experience needs to be accumulated through actual combat, so don't be discouraged. In the future, if you fight more, you will naturally sum up some experience. Well, it's getting late, let's go back to Yuming village. After that, Dong Shenyao turned around and walked down the mountain. The previous battle was dangerous, but because of Dong Shenyao's attack in the end, the three of them didn't get hurt, and Jiraiya suffered some shocks, but it didn't get in the way. Seeing that Dong Shenyao was gone, the three of them hurriedly get up and follow.